Yeah, resetting OBS worked. Okay. It's a shame that I had to reset OBS. Okay, guys, I'll just show you the dice result. I had to spend 2 inspiration points down to 5. Hold on now. Where is the... Yeah, there it is. Okay, I'll show you. 12. I had to reroll twice to get that. And I'll show you. I spent 2 inspiration down to 3. Okay.
Still not up for me.
It's still not up for you?
Nope, there we go.
Okay, it's back. Okay.
Just use the reload page. Don't worry, I just need to reload the page.
Okay, reload. I'll put up reload page. Reload page. We are back. Good thing I didn't read anything else important there after stream went down.
You would have just reread the stuff that you reread.
Yeah. Okay, so... Okay, we made the investigation check after 2 rerolls, so let's go. You search through the bandit camp, starting with the oilcloth hung in the tree. A leather scroll contains a rolled sheet of vellum. Examining the document, you see that it's a warrant made out for someone named Horace and Titch. The bandit's names, presumably. It offers hundreds of gold pieces in reward for information regarding the criminal's location, and thousands for her capture, dead or alive. Okay. The warrant is for the Wolf of the Road, who has an obviously orcish name you don't recognize. They are wanted for killing of a constable in 3 Rivers. Oh, I think the mayor knows something that she's not telling us. Not knowing what to make of this, you take the document with you until you can find out more. These bandits have clearly fallen on hard times as their gear seems to be tattered and in poor repair. It is likely any valuables they might have are also kept on their persons. However, elsewhere in the clearing you find a smaller oilcloth rolled up and stuck into a deep knoll on the tree. In the second oilcloth... Oh yeah, Stream Elements is just pinged there. In this... I don't know. Where was I? Yeah, clearly found tree. In the second oilcloth, you manage to find an agate brooch worth 15 gold pieces. Alright. An agate brooch. Yeah, an agate's a type of stone. And disguised with some ashes, there's a flimsy jeweled dagger worth 5 GP. Leaving the rest of the bandits' junk, you note that the day is coming to an end soon. You will need to hurry back to town and report to the mayor. I mean, I'm going to take the brooch and the dagger. Alright, go to 183. Your trip back to town... Oh yeah, better mark that down. I don't know. Treasure. Agate. Brooch. Worth 15 GP. Jeweled dagger worth 5 GP. Alright. There we go, back to this. You trip back to town, so as you walk, the roads are empty of other travelers. So that could be explained by by the quickly advancing nightfall. You keep your eyes on the tree line too, but no hungry wolves make another appearance either. No one wants to be caught outside the dark with an unknown killer out there. By the time you make it back to Langston, the sun is nothing more but a faint blush on the western horizon, and stars are just speckling the sky overhead. It's later than you expected, but you feel the warrant should be discussed immediately. You arrive at the town hall, the sun completely gone. The building is dark, but you run to the mayor's aid. The mayor isn't here, he says in response to your question, though she does often stay into the night. She seemed distracted after receiving a sealed message earlier today. She wouldn't tell me what was in it, but left shortly after. You let him know it's incredibly urgent and you need to speak to Mayor Anathram right away. He gives you directions to her house and bids you good night. Go to 206. You approach the mayor's home. You see 2 shabbily dressed men lounging by the entrance to her garden. One is tall and lean with a sharp face that is set in a permanent grimace of contempt. He must be Titch. The other person, presumably Horace, has a smug smile on his face as he scratches idly at his protruding belly. Both wear equally mismatched clothing and piecemeal light armor, as if everything they have is scavenged from those even less fortunate than them. Right. As you watch, the mare approaches from the other direction. She stops to scowl at the two men. You see her hand stray towards her belt as if reaching for a weapon. But she catches herself and stalks forward. The shorter of the pair waves and waggles his eyebrows. They greet each other, and not in a very friendly manner. They are too far for you to hear the specifics. After a brief exchange, they all go into the house together. Horace leads the way while Titch takes up the rear. A moment after the door shuts, lamplight illuminates window. You approach the house. Go to 197. Alright. The mayor's house is a large single-story home with a small neglected garden and a thick wooden door. Like the rest of town, it's built on a stone foundation with timber-framed walls. Lamps have been lit inside and glow through closed curtains. Despite the thickness of the door, however, you can clearly hear voices raised in anger inside. You can continue listening at the door, go to 188, knock, go to 205, attempt to force the door open, or try and pick the... I don't have thieves tools, I can't do that. Should I knock or listen in? I don't think trying to force the door open is a good idea. I think I should I try and listen first. If I can't listen in, I'll try knocking. The door is thick. Yeah, the door is thick. The voices are obviously some distance from it. It's only because they're shouting you can hear them at all. The shouted conversation is occasionally punctured by the deep bark of the mare Anathrum's dog. Roll a wisdom perception check. If you get a 15 or higher, go to page... okay, so perception's a flat roll. Go to 217. If you get under 15, go to 229. Alright then. So my wisdom's a flat roll. That's well established at this point. RD20. I didn't put in the R. Yep, that's all on. I have to do that properly. There, fixed it. That's a 10. I'm not willing to re-roll, so... Moving on. Got under 15. 229. You definitely hear angry voices, but you still can't tell anything or what they're saying over loud barking. You can knock or try and break that. Let's try knocking.
They're immediately going to stop the conversation that they were having.
Yeah. Yeah, the voices go silent and wonder if anyone is coming. As you consider other options, you hear the mayor's voice call out from the other side. Who's there? You answer that it's you and ask if everything's alright. Silence again. Finally, the door unlocks and the mayor's scowling face greets you. Well, oh yeah, there they are. That's Titch and Horace, I imagine. They're basically discount bulk and skull.
I'll swap over.
Yeah.
You swap over.
Oh, did I swap over? Sorry.
Nope.
There we go. Thank you for reminding me. It's always... There they are. Can you see them?
Stream delay, but yeah, I'll be able to see them in a minute or two.
Alright. Excellent. I'm glad you can make it, she says, with the most courteous you've ever heard her speak. Won't you please come in? Confused, you follow her into the front hall of her home. As you step past the threshold, you see the lean bandit standing behind her with a dagger in the small of her back. Mayor Anathram hardly seems to notice him, however, as she is both taller and much broader than him. Welcome to the party, he said. Welcome to the party, he says, his sour mouth twisting in a wry smile. Come in, make yourself comfortable. Growing even more confused, you follow the mayor and bandit into the house's parlour. The shorter, more portly bandit is there casually toying with a dagger and trying not to notice the enormous mastiff staring at him like a meal. Hey, as you were, folks, the broad bandit says. gesturing expansively, then pointing at you with his knife. Except you. Stand over by my companion. There, we can keep an eye on you, eh? You look askance at the mare, and she gives you a single nod. And you do as you've been asked. Okay, put 209. Sorry, I need to go take a drink because my voice is very dry from reading so much out loud. I also need to go to the bathroom, so I'll mute myself and I'll be right back. I'm also going to switch over to be back soon. So we'll be right back soon after I get a drink and I take a quick bathroom break. Back soon. Just letting you know first, Mara, that I'm back.
Welcome back.
Yeah, and
Just to let you know before you go back on stream, I was about to say, before you go back on stream,
yeah,
I have just been contacting the young lady who done my initial OC for stream. She
yeah.
has agreed to do the dragon form.
Oh, lovely.
So we're getting there.
I hope no one's picking up the audio right now. I just made sure to turn
They
off the
are.
application.
They are.
Oh, they can
No,
hear
they
you.
are.
Okay, they can hear you. Okay, fair enough. I'm gonna turn my
It
mic back on then, so it's not just one-sided.
That's fine.
All right. Well, that's great news. You heard it here first, folks. Let's go back to the TTRPG stream there. Hey, okay, here we are. So 209, wasn't it?
I do believe so. Yes.
All right, I have a cup of tea and another glass of water, so I have plenty to drink. So I should be fine for reading the rest of this story. Let's see here. Oh, page 53 out of 104. Oh my god, I hope I hope that. Then again, we're jumping back and forth, so I might be further on this adventure than I thought. Now in the parlor, you can see that the home is well appointed with comfortable furniture and a snug little kennel for a dog. The walls aren't bare and include a few oil paintings and some sconces for lamps, and other generic decorations expected of a person of the mayor's position. All of it is rather bland, however, as if she selected her surroundings based on someone else's taste. Except maybe the stained battle axe hanging over the mantel. A low fire is just getting going in the hearth. The two bandits are standing closer to you, between you and the mayor's position with their dog. The mayor is sitting in the dining room with one hand on her dog, as if restraining him with her light touch. Both are standing still with a tightly coiled fury. You introduce yourself as an investigator finding the culprit behind the murder of a young woman. As you speak, the shorter, rounder bandit makes an elaborate show of listening and nodding. The taller, thinner one lounges against the wall, resting comfortably on an item. Did you have something to do with that? The chubby one asked sweetly. His companion chuckles. Maybe a pretty young lady found out your secret while collecting berries in the woods, maybe. Or from a conversation in the market. You're starting to put everything together, but you look at the mayor for more. Mayor Anathram sits stony-faced in silence. Her eyes shift into the middle distance, but her dog continues. I'm Horace, and this lean-looking lad is my good friend Titch, says the shorter of the pair, breaking the silence. Your employer here? Well, hells know what name she gave you, but we know her as the Wolf of the Road. I knew it. He produces a poster clearly labelled the Three Rivers Constabulary with the accurate image of Mayor Anathram on it. Right down to the wounds where her scars are now apparent. So your pet sleuth knows, Titch says Titch the mayor. But if you don't open up the town coffers, or if we don't make it back to camp by morning, our friends back in camp are going to tell everyone in your town your little secret. And we've got more proof like this. You take this opportunity to point out that there are no more conspirators at the camp, only the warrant, and that is somewhere safe. I see, says the mayor. Her smile is far more unsettling than her scowl. The two glance at each other, the blood draining from their faces. Mayor Anathram. Oh no, did I scroll too far there? Yeah, there we go. Mayor Anathram. Sorry, yeah. Mayor Anathram pats her enormous dogs as his head begins to growl. You can try to threaten them into running away or attack them. I'm going to threaten them! You let the two bandits know there is only one way to get out of this alive, and that's to give up now. This one is smart, the mayor says, nodding towards you. Buttercup licks her teeth. Roll an intimidation check with advantage due to the mayor's assistance. Oh. If you get a 15 or more, go to... okay, let's see. What is my intimidation? My intimidation is... Oh, it's just a +1. Oh, yeah. I wish I had frightful presence right now. Oh well, hold on now. Let's see. I have to turn off this window capture. There we go. So /R 2d20 KH1 plus 1. 16. I believe I beat it. Oh god, the lower one was a 1. Oh no, let me see if I switch back properly. I have not. There we go. Nope. There we go. So yeah. I got a 16. That's one more. Horror swallows with a loud click, and even the seemingly unflappable Twitch glances for the escape routes. You were outmatched when you arrived. Mayor Anathram says to the bandits, and now you're outnumbered. You may leave safely, but you must leave now. You let them know the opportunity to get away safely will end soon. Well, I think their offer is looking more generous by the minute, wouldn't you say, Titch? Says Horace. His compatriot briefly pauses to think about it before nodding. So I suppose you'll be wanting this. He holds up the wanted poster. The mayor speaks in Orcish to Buttercup, and the huge canine pads over gently retrieves a large sheet of paper. Horace grimaces in fear as the dog's huge jaws approach, his hand before letting go of the prize. So, well, it's been nice catching up, hasn't it, Titch? Horace, still in his jovial smile, fixed waste of time for everyone's time, but can't fault us for trying, eh, Wolf? Or maybe I should say Mayor. Just get out. My mind is quickly changing. Horace opens his mouth to speak once more before closing it with a snap. He points to the door, and both he and Tish briskly half-jog their way, looking over their shoulders the whole way. They're basically just the bandit pair, Bulk and Skull. Go like that. They're cowards, she says. They're here because they're desperate. But they will not make that mistake again. The mayor slams the door and turns towards you. So what do you think of that so far?
Not too bad.
Ah,
Not too bad at all.
yeah. Now that you're alone, you give Mayor Anathram the bounty, and she reviews the letter with Buttercup and pads over to his kennel and lies down. Clearly you're now on the safe list. I did not kill him, she says. I do not know who did it. He was alive when I escaped with Buttercup. Mayor Anathram actually sighs as she returns her old battle axe to the mantle. She explains that she was once the leader of a bandit crew for a time, turning to a life of crime after falling into a chasm between orc and human societies. It came to her as naturally as breathing, and she rose up to lead her own band. I feel bad for her because it looks like their next meal. They operated when one of the resistance leaders was killed, overly enthusiastic and beat the man to death, tied to a chair. Was responsible, the mayor says. They were my men that murdered this man where he slept. I refused to be responsible for the next one. I used the chaos of the unrest to escape. She took her bandits on an impossible raid of an invading force while her crew was being overwhelmed. She just disappeared into the night to join the stream of refugees and found her way to Langston with Buttercup at her side. The people of Langston assumed she was a veteran and she never corrected them. She lied about everything the whole time she's been in Langston, but she's determined to make things right. But Maybelline had found out, probably from Horace or Titch visiting the market and stirring up trouble. I have changed. I was a warrior once, then a thief, but I was not a murderer. Positive. Maybelline did not see it that way. Okay. We argued, the mayor said. She did not think someone with my past should be in my position. I disagreed and convinced her that I am better suited to protect Langston from threats. She set her jaws and then looked at you, and you see tears shining in her eyes. I was wrong. The next night, something killed that girl. It was not me. A loud crack rings out and you jump. Turning, you see the source is Buttercup, who just snapped up what looked like the femur in half, licking the marrow. Now, it is nighttime. While it's not a full moon, I think the werewolf will be out and about, so I don't think it's the mare. It looks like the femur of a sheep, yeah. And where we are now, we must conclude quickly before my own town loses itself to fear. But I wish to show my thanks for you. Like, she's proven that she's a liar, so I can't really completely trust her, can I?
No.
But I don't think she's the werewolf.
But you're right, it is nighttime, and also with it being nighttime,
Yeah.
but not a full moon, normally...
Yeah, a werewolf can change whenever they want.
I was about to say, naturally speaking, a werewolf can turn whenever they so please,
Yeah.
but are forcibly changed on a full moon.
Yeah.
Without the ability to sort of change as and where they see fit. However, there is also, and I don't know whether or not it applies to D&D in particular at this moment in time, but there is a part of the curse of lycanthropy that is for a week after the full moon has arisen.
You stay in the wolf form every night.
A lycanthrope will change every night.
Yeah, that's what...
Like I said, I don't particularly know whether or not that's actually the case in this situation. Because D&D does change it a little bit. Now,
I did determine earlier that Roy had a magical allergic reaction. That sounded like a wolfsbane allergy. Now, wolfsbane was part of the cure. He also doesn't have a motive to want to hurt Maybelline. But he does seem like the most werewolf-like to me. Now, he could have just wild-shaped. But wild-shape is an ability druids learn. It's not something that is natural. Like, you have to be in tune with nature to unlock it. The polypox only affects natural shapeshifters. So that's...
Once a druid learns to wild shape, it is classified as a natural thing that they can do.
Okay, fair enough. But it doesn't really rule them out, though.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't rule out your druid, but it is. I would be as far in the way in considering that it's a lot less likely that a druid, someone who magically gains control over the ability to change their form, would be a lot more or a lot less vulnerable. Someone who's learned to change their form, pardon me, would be less susceptible to it.
Yeah. I'm glad I killed that Sturge, because then I would have been affected by the bloody polypox, because I am a shapeshifter.
Well, obviously the game itself doesn't obviously account for that fact.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So that would be that would be something that you would be pinning on yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
But that would also be a really cool thing to pin on yourself, I would say.
Yeah. Oh, well, anyway, it would be, but yeah, it didn't happen. I killed the Sturge immediately. It was a much easier combat then. Okay. Alright, so we must conclude. So the mayor is offering you something to protect yourself. Go to 172 or do some damage, 181. I wish to show you my thanks for help. Please let me offer you something. Okay. So I can either take something to protect myself or do some damage. I can do damage pretty well on my own.
You are a caster,
so
defense would be better for you.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's dependent on what kind of defense that she's giving you. Because as a caster as well, you can't really do a huge amount because you can't use a huge amount.
Okay, let's see here. I've chosen 172. You say you would like to be better protected from whatever's out there. Then take this, the mayor says, lifting an amulet off her neck. This will protect you from all manner of beasts. It was helpful when I was training Buttercup to fight. And Buttercup huffs for a moment before putting his huge head back down on his paws. Add Lesser Amulet of the Beast to your inventory. You slip the amulet around your neck. Go to 222.
Oh, not bad, not bad. Lesser Amulet of the Beast means that you take reduced damage from beasts.
Alright.
As far as I'm aware.
Yeah, let's see. The mayor... You thank the mayor for the gifts and says that's enough. So yeah, Lesser Amulet of the Beast. Let me see if I can find that. Because I want to have a look at it myself. Lesser... I should mark it down. Amulet of the Beast, 2 versions. Ivory or silver. This is from Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. What? Oh, also the music stopped. I better start it. Alright. Go. Did it say what it was? Okay, Oh no, can I go back to the last one I was at? It was... Yeah, hold on, there's something to protect. Lesser Amulet of the Beast. It doesn't say anything about what the amulet does. I'll put it in my inventory for the time being, but it doesn't say what it does, which is a bit of an issue.
I think if you go down to 172 again, it was below it, or at least a picture of it was below it.
Oh, so yeah. That might have been it. Yeah, you're right. Actually, no, I think I scrolled past it earlier. Yeah, I scrolled. There it is, Lesser Amulet of the Beast. When attuned to this amulet, gain resistance to any natural attacks made by creatures of beast type.
There you go.
Alright, so I'll take less damage from beast creatures if they attack me.
Yeah, you will take half damage from all beast type creatures' natural attacks.
That's fair.
It's a really, really good skill, actually. It's a really, really good thing to have.
Gain resistance to attacks, natural attacks. Of beast type. Yeah, that is actually very handy. It does look like it was a 2nd edition item, so these guys added it in for 5th edition.
Yeah. There's a few items in there that I've noticed were very similar to the 5th, to like first.
Oh, were you? Did you read through the PDF when I sent it to you?
No, I haven't read through it, but like from what I've listened to so far.
Oh, okay.
There's been a few that I've noticed and recognized from 1st through 3rd edition.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I'm not overly knowledgeable on all of this stuff from 1st through 3rd edition, but like there's been a few things that I've picked up on.
Okay, fair enough.
Like the Amulet of the Beast.
Fair enough. No, Elsa, you thank the mayor. Is there anything else you can do for her? No, she says. That'll be all. I trust you'll find your way out on your own way out. It has been an exhausting day. She balls up the wanted poster and the warrant. She throws him into the low burning fire and walks away without another word. But the poster rolls out from the flame before it catches. The door closes toward the back of the house. Buttercup remains surreptitiously keeping an eye on you, while you either take the poster or place both in the fire. I'm going to place both in the fire.
Oh.
Yeah. You make sure the mayor's secret stays safe and kick the wanted poster and warrant flame. Gain inspiration! Nice. Back up to 4. As you watch the flame and hearth consume the evidence of the mayor's past, you feel something wet and warm on your hand. You jerk away as you see Buttercup's face. Oh, specifically his tongue licking your palm. You wipe your hand and head back from the huge guard dog, moving towards the door. He follows you as far as the mat, but flops down again and closes his eyes. Go to the inn for the night. Alright.
Oh.
Yeah, Buttercup was actually quite nice.
Yeah, but Buttercup liked the fact that you
yeah, protected her, his master.
Yeah, that and the fact that you protected her secret as well.
Yeah. It's late. By the time you're leaving the mayor's home, the streets of Langston are completely empty, but the lamps are lit at least. As you make your way back to the Pickled Hen, you scan the rooftops and alleys for the return of the creature you saw the other night. You see nothing, and do not feel as if you're being watched. In fact, it's a quiet and pleasant night after the hectic events of the day. The only sound in the night are hidden crickets and chirping, and a single long, low howl from somewhere to the east. When you arrive at your room, a tray of dinner that has long gone cold waits for you, and you eat it without really tasting it. Finally, you climb into bed for some much-needed rest, only vaguely aware of another howl in the night as exhaustion takes you. So it's been 2 days, so I've got 5 days left of that club of +1.
Yep.
Alright, page 236. You wake up feeling refreshed and ready for whatever today may bring. I didn't need to spend money on my potion either. Gain the benefits of a long rest. Your breakfast is waiting for you and you open the door along with a neatly folded letter. The letter says, Dear Adventure, many thanks for your assistance with yesterday's challenges. I hope that you are making progress in your investigation into the threat of my town. The victim is due to be buried tomorrow. Visit the temple and examine the body before then. Solane of the Radiant Order has been informed of your visit. Please note if you have any problems. And it is signed simply by the mayor as the mayor. Guessing that any thanks at all is the mayor's way of gushing with gratitude. You finish your morning meal and make your way to the temple as suggested. Go to 237.
Nice.
Yeah. The Sun Temple is easy to find, and as it towers over every other in Langston, piercing the sky on the eastern edge of town, you approach. You see, unlike the timber walls and whitewash of the rest of the town, the temple is made from limestone that shines in the morning sun. Even though it is scoured from the centuries of rain and wind, this building was here long before the rest of town is lost to history. It is early when you arrive. The entry to the temple faces west, so as you approach, the morning sun seems to sink beneath the spire. The courtyard in front of the temple contains an altar left open to the sun, surrounded by a theatre-style seating with a tile roof. The top of the altar is adorned with the same sunburst symbol you see on the temple spire. As you approach, a single door presents itself as the obvious entrance. When you push against it, the door swings open, easily to reveal a round room with benches around the walls. Passages branch off to the other cardinal points of the compass. However, the cleric is not there, as you've been led to believe. You can call out, go to 272, or explore the passages looking for her. Call out or look for her? I think I should look for her. Because, yeah, I'm just gonna look for her. From the central hall you're standing in the passage to the north appears to be a library of some kind, and the passage itself seems to be a dining hall. This means that the western passage must lead to some kind of rectory or series of chambers. If you haven't done so yet, you can explore the library, the living quarters, or the dining hall. Or you can take a seat and wait for the cleric to arrive. I think I'll check out the library first. A large door to the north opens into a sizable library. With several reading tables in the middle of the room. The three walls you can see are completely covered in bookshelves. A small stack of books and scrolls also rests on one table. No one is there. You approach a pile of books and scrolls made up of mostly religious texts and rituals, but you identify a few tomes of history as well. It seems to be what you'd expect a cleric to reference around the time of a funeral, including the source of Solane referenced in the funeral, as well as the treatise on the treatment of common curses. Standing among the leather-bound tomes is a single black book that is bound with some other skin. A tarnished metal lock lies open on this tome, and the title is written in a script other than common. Read the book on curses, go to 281, or examine the black book. I think I want to start with the book of curses. The book is simply Compendium of Curses, 17th edition. It is bound in a leather and is ridiculously thick with hundreds, maybe thousands of entries. The scribe who wrote the tome included helpful illustrations of curses, effects of wards against those curses, and embellished sections where outline cures could be had. Open the book to a random curse or try to determine the cleric's interest. I think I'll go in and determine her interest. Hold on now. One page containing Llewellyn's grim visage and lycanthropy. You see a single sheet of paper. Wait. On a page containing Llewellyn's grim visage and lycanthropy, you see a single sheet of paper containing a note written in an elegant looping hand. Despite the elegance, however, some words are jaggedly crossed out and still watermarks mark certain words. It looks like the writer was crying as they wrote. Dearest Tomlin, I write to you now as a truly changed woman. I have returned from my pilgrimage needing you, your strength and love. Okay, Tomlin, the fiance of Maybelline, the murder victim, was in a relationship with the cleric before she went off for her pilgrimage. More than ever, the journey to my order and back was harrowing, to say the least. Ignore that. Yet when I arrived in Langston, instead of a lover, I have a wedding to officiate, and while I can find it in my heart to love and forgive you, I fear the darkness blooming in my heart will not forgive her. Because I must tell you, and that's where the letter ends. There are words throughout that are scribbled as if the author has been overcome with emotion as they were writing. Keep the letter, or I'm going to keep the letter. Add love letter. My inventory. Oh, the two religious leaders are the most suspicious so far. If you haven't done so yet, you can examine the Black Tome. I'm going to examine the Black Tome. I'll wait for Selene later. Yeah. Hold on, I'll just also put Selene's love letter to Tomlin. Oh, something very fucky wucky's going on here. Feel it. Oh, yeah, there we go. Alright. So, the Black Tome is bound in something similar to leather, but rougher. Almost like shark skin, but less regular spines and bumps. It smells faintly of brimstone and is oily to the touch. Though your fingers have come away from the material dry, the title of the book and language is very distant from common. It appears to be a, Oh! I think... Do I know Abyssal? Or is it Infernal? No. I know? Oh, yeah, okay, you're wrong. Yeah, damn it! I don't have either language. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's Celestial. Yeah, I don't have comprehend languages, so I will go to 249. Images in the book are various forms of black sun iconography. Some sketches of circles surrounded by glyphs you can't recognize. Some diagrams of nasty-looking tools that could be weapons, torture implements, or specialized butcher's tools. A whole section is devoted to what seems to be a study of corpses or bones. As you're leafing through the book, you find a small scrap of paper written in common. It says this one. It marks an entry that has images of what seems to be animated corpses. This is a variety of Walking Dead, from mere skeletal remains to corpses with their rotting flesh intact. There are even illustrations of ghouls hunched over other corpses feeding on the flesh of the dead. Without context, you are sure what is being said, but you aren't sure what is being said, but the illustrations are ominous enough. If you haven't already done so, you can examine the book. Of course, I already did that. Or if you have nothing else to do, library, you can return to the front hall. 296. From here you're standing in the central hall. The passage to the north appears to be a library of some kind that opens to the south, the dining hall. If you haven't done so yet, you can explore the library. Already did that. The living quarters or the dining hall. I think I should go to the dining hall next. Do you think I should go to living quarters or dining hall next? I'm thinking dining hall.
Yeah, dining hall sounds good.
Yeah. I'm hoping I don't run into her too soon because I want to investigate as much as possible. But yeah, dining hall I think I'll go to next. The passage is essentially a foyer leading to a pair of double doors. with one left open on stuck hinges. Inside is a large dining room containing 5 large round tables of smooth wood, each surrounded by 8 chairs. The walls are bare except for tall windows with frosted glass letting in the morning sunlight. At the far end of the room, there's a door that leads into an adjoining kitchen. Through the open door, you can't see any windows in the kitchen, but it is well lit. You can either explore the dining room or look in the kitchen. I'm going to start with the dining room. I'll go to the kitchen afterwards. The dining room is an expansive room with natural light. Each of the pictures really give away a lot of spoilers. I'm trying to ignore it. The dining room is an expansive room lit with natural light. Each of large round tables is neatly stowed in a state of disguise. Judging from the layer of dust on all furniture, no one has sat at these tables to eat or converse in a very long time. The sense of loneliness in this unused space of this room is palpable. There's no sign of Solane or any activity here. You can either explore the kitchen or return to the main entrance. Well, let's go to the kitchen. Alright, the kitchen is windowless, but glowing orbs set into the ceiling provide a warm yellow light. The kitchen includes an indoor water pump over a wash basin, a dark iron stove, and a single setting of a plate, a bowl, and cutlery neatly stacked by the wash basin. The stove is stacked with one each of a pot and a pan, and a cauldron hangs in the unlit hearth. The stove itself does not seem to have seen much use, as it's getting some patches of rust on top. But there is ash and soot around the door, so someone has recently lit it recently at least. The heavy wooden door is set into a darker granite frame. It looks like it could be a larder, cool storage of some kind. Take a closer look at the stove or larder. I'll take a look at the stove first. The stovetop looks like it has been used in some time due to the dust on top of it. However, there's a considerable amount of ash on the floor. Looking inside the stove, you see the charred remains of some articles of clothing. Either examine the clothes more carefully or put them back. I'm going to examine them. Roll a perception check or a related tool proficiency check. If you roll a 10 or more, go to 255. If you roll under 10, go to 313. I'm pretty sure my perception is a 10. Yeah, it's flat 0, so... My passive perception is 10 though, so I guess I could just take the passive and pass it. I think that's fair. If it's 10, yeah, fuck it. I've got a passive of 10, so let's go. There are most certainly burned. These are most certainly burned holy evidence, but they were not in good condition when they went into. Many of the seams burst long ago, as you can see the charged threads. On one cup, you can see a few droplets of what could be blood. Hold on. Oh shit, where was I? As you handle the cloth over, it crumbles in your hands. If you haven't done so yet, you can go look at the larder. I'm going to go look at the larder. You open up the larder and it's noticeably cooler in here. Despite the cool darkness, you see wilted vegetables and sprouting potatoes. A moldy heel of bread sits alone on a shelf as if forgotten. However, there are several large cuts of meat hanging from hooks and wrapped in rough cloth. There's beef, goat leg, and 2 whole chickens. Given the state of some of the rest of the food, this looks surprisingly fresh. As you look closer, the raw meat seems to have small, ragged bite marks in it. However, the cleric's unusual diet does not offer you any clues about where she is at the moment, so you need to keep looking. If you haven't already, you can go have a closer look at the room or go to the dining room. If there's nothing else of interest here, you can go return to the front hall, go to 296. Yeah, I haven't gone to the living quarters yet. But let's go to the living quarters. Several empty monastic cells with... I think I've seen enough. to know who it is. You see several empty monastic cells with doors standing open. A quick count reveals that there are 13 rooms with 6 on each side of the hall and 1 at the far end. The only door at the end of the hall is closed, presumably the cleric's room. You head down the hallway toward the locked door. A skylight runs the length of the hall, letting in the morning sunshine. The floors and walls are inside the same light-colored stone as the outside of the temple, and while smoother than the outside's weathered stone, they do not have much luster. Dust and cobwebs lurk in the corner that can catch them, especially in the crevices that are hard to reach. The floor does not seem to have been polished in a lifetime. Some of the open doors reveal aging furniture silently collecting dust, while the others are just as stark and as bare as prison cells. Your footsteps against the hard floor create echoes of echoes that come and go from room to room. The air smells of a strange aroma of dust bathed in sunlight. Once you reach the door, the gauntlets of oppressive stillness, you may knock, go to 253, open the door and walk in, go to 302, or examine the door and the area around it. I'm going to examine it. 240. You take a closer look at the door and the area around it. At a glance, there's something unusual about the entrance at all. It's just a wooden door with... Yeah, okay. Roll an investigation. 15 or more, go to 263. If you get less than 15, go to 287. Alright, let's roll this motherfucker. Oh, I had the wrong suspect. I had a +4 to my investigation, so... Hell yes! 23! Haha! Alright. So... Yeah, hold on. Oh yeah, this is the one. I was looking at the wrong one. Alright, the only things that are out of place in the door's latch seems unusually scratched and a bit bent, as if someone who was both unusually strong and unfamiliar with how to operate the latch has grown frustrated with the door. The scratches are reminiscent of either claw marks or tool marks, but it's hard to tell which. There is also a smear of what appears to be dark soil on the threshold. Someone destroyed a whole bunch of flowers outside of in Tomlin's garden and left 2 little plant monsters to attack whoever investigated. You can't tell anything more about who or what left the earth on the ground, but it smells less of fertile soil than it does of rotten mildew. You can knock 253 or go to open the door. I think I'm going to just go and open the door. 302. Yeah, door is unlocked and swings open. The room is inside. It's not completely empty, but it is sparse and consists of a single bed, a bare chair, a bedside table with an envelope on it, and a wardrobe constructed of pale wood. You can take a closer look at the bed and the bedside table, 311, or go to the wardrobe. Alright. I am going to go to 311. The single bed with linen sheets with a thick wool blanket is neatly made. In fact, it's so neat that you wonder if it was slept in last night. It's a normal looking bed in every way, even if it doesn't look comfortable. There is an envelope on the nightstand. It is worn along the crease. You clearly see it has clearly been opened many times. You can take the envelope and examine its contents. I'm going to take a look at its contents. 242. It's a love letter written in a cringeworthy verse that expresses affection for Selene. Little more than an overdone limerick, a tract that is titled A Time for Love in the Sun and signed by Tomlin. Given that it includes lines like your toes are dainty as the rose red and putting pansies forever in your handsies, you can't bring yourself to do more than scan the poem. Oh, you feel no value in taking this, and you're surprised Elaine keeps it at all. She's a bit obsessed, to be honest. Every line was worse than the last, and you feel dumber for having read it once. You put the poetry back in the envelope and return to the nightstand and hope the gods have mercy on whoever wrote it. It was Tomlin. If you haven't done so, you can look at the wardrobe. Yeah, let's have a look at the wardrobe. The wardrobe is full of various religious vestments. Interestingly, one of the robes shows evidence of recent and considerable repair. You also notice that the closet is not flush against the wall, and you see something that seems to have fallen or been kicked behind a heavy piece of furniture. Move the wardrobe to look behind it, or use some magical means to lift the barely seen object out from behind the heavy piece of furniture. Go to 3-1-12. My strength is +2. I think I can try and lift it. I only need a 12. Roll a strength check to push the closet. Get 12 or more. That's not bad. I would be willing to spend an inspiration if I don't get it. So, D20 +2. Wow, that is a long-ass dice. 5. Okay, we're re-rolling. I'll have to remember to mark that off. 21. Okay. Back down to 3. Okay. Saving that. And we're going back to the adventure. So I was able to push it. 238. You move the closet and it grates against the floor. You retrieve a single ribbon that has fallen behind it and then push the furniture back to place. Now that you have it, take a closer look at the ribbon. 247. Oh wait, I had Mage Hand. I could have just used Mage Hand and not wasted. Oh, whatever. The ribbon is a lavender strip. Tomlin said that Maybelline's favorite color was lavender. Like one a girl or young woman might wear in her hair. It is tied tightly into a tangle of knots that seems to have something stitched in it. The ribbon is relatively free of dust, suggests it has not been behind the wardrobe long. However, it is also visibly blood-stained. Embroidered, bloody lavender ribbon is what I'm going to put down. Embroidered, bloody lavender ribbon. I've been paying attention, so if you haven't done so, you can look around the bed. I've already done the bed. If there's something else, you can go return to the front hall. 296. I've done everything there. I'm going to wait for the cleric. Oh. You take a seat and wait for a bit, even looking down the various passages to see if she somehow managed to sneak by you, but the cleric still has not returned. I can examine the tapestries. I haven't done that yet, or the mosaic on the floor. Either way, I can look at those. But I'll read this first. You entertain yourself by looking around you. The gold inlaid mosaic on the floor is spectacular. You kick at the gold for a moment and realize it has been magically fused to the floor itself in the same sunburst motif that is used throughout the temple. Further up, the aging tapestries on the walls depicting some epic event involving holy magic and evil undead. The tapestries rise up against the wall of the tower, alternating with the window overflowing with the morning sunlight, in which floating motes of dust dance. I want to examine the tapestries first and then at the mosaic. The tapestries show a holy order of sun clerics raising the temple and banishing the undead. The story begins in darkness with skeletons and other undead monsters rising out of the midnight black to devour the common folk. And then glowing holy figures appear in the next wall hanging, impaling the restless dead with beams of light radiating off them. The next tapestry depicts a white-robed figure standing in a ring, summoning a shaft of light down from the sun and striking the earth, replacing the deep darkness of the ground with a ring of green plants. The tapestry shows the temple you are standing in amidst the houses and other buildings, with the sun in the bright blue sky behind it. Beneath the bright scene, however, there is a band of black earth which floats, in which float dark red eyes lying in wait. Ominous. You attempt to compare what you've seen with to your knowledge. All right, let's try this. 309. You look at the tapestries. I actually have very good history and intelligence, so I have to make a DC 15. So what is my history is +6 and my religion? Where's religion? Both are +6. So it's the same either way.
Nice.
Yeah. Intelligence caster, motherfuckers. RD20 +6. Fuck it. I'm gonna spend another. I want to get this. D20 +6. I can't believe I rolled a 2 there. I'll use an inspiration. Oh, are you kidding? Fuck it. One more. I'll keep one inspiration die. Are you kidding me? Fuck it. I've got silvery barbs. Last chance. And now the dice takes time to roll. Nat 20. Okay. I had to spend all my fucking I'll turn it back on so you guys can see. I had to spend all of my remaining proficiency inspiration there. So many bad rolls. Oh well. Okay. Hopefully it was worth it. I passed. Go to 257. Okay, I get one inspiration back for passing that at least. I'm back to 1.
Not quite what you wanted, but fair enough.
Hey, look, we'll learn some lore. The tapestries depict an order of an ancient order of sun worshippers. They erected this tower hundreds, maybe even thousands of years ago to prevent some dark magic or undead plague. Based on the similar tales, as long as one of their order remains present and dedicated to light, the area is sanctified and no monsters will arise from the grave. If you haven't done so, you can examine them. I haven't examined the mosaic floor yet, so yeah. 2-4. Alright. At first you think it's a beautiful bit of tile work depicting the same sun symbol adorning the rest of the temple, surrounded with concentric rings of sunbeams and rays. It takes a moment for you to realize there are no visible tiles at all, so either the whole floor was carved from a single enormous stone, or magic was a big part of the building's construction. Lost in the shining patterns on the floor, you catch your foot on something as you're walking around. The central holy symbol isn't perfectly flat, it's slightly indented. The shape of the indent is a much smaller sunburst, about the size of a gnome's hand, with its fingers outstretched. You can examine the indent, explore, I don't have masons or thieves tools, or use a weapon to probe the indent. I'll use my claws. 259. You wedge a sharp tip or edge into the indent or tap it with a bit of heavy, or tap with a heavy bludgeoning weapon. You can feel the mechanism shudder. Roll a dexterity check. If you roll a 15 or higher, go to 316. If you roll below 15, go to 285. All right. Let's try it. So my dexterity is a +2. D20 +2. Do I spend my last inspiration die? Oh, I think I should. I'm gonna fuck it. I'm gonna do it. I want to know. Don't fuck me. Oh, it fucked me. Okay, I got nothing out of that. I have to get rid of my last inspiration. Oh, I fucked around and found out. Alright. Got lower, 285. You feel a thumb of magic energy run through you. Roll a dexterity saving throw against DC 10. If you fail, take 1d4 radiant damage. Okay. So I have to make a dex check. My dex save is still a +2. Okay. Oh, I didn't show it to you. Yeah, there you guys go. There it is. I have to make a dex save of 10. Alright. RD20 +2. 14, I make it and I can try again. Yeah, I'll show you guys now. I can try again if I succeed. So yeah, go to 303. I can manipulate the sunburst shape. 3. Gain inspiration. Okay, lovely. So I failed, but it still worked. I got a point of inspiration back. Nearly got hit because of it. But thank fuck. Okay. As you further probe the indet, you feel a build-up of magical... Oh, though if I didn't spend it, I would have had 2. God damn it. Roll a dexterity saving throw. If you fail, take 1d4 radiant damage. Okay. I have to roll again, apparently, so... yeah. Let's do it. RD20 +2. Don't fuck me. Thank fuck. I didn't even need my my modifier for that one. Okay. I succeeded. No radiant damage. With a faint click, the sun-shaped opening returns to its hidden state. The seam vanishes entirely. Something beneath the floor grinds into place. Despite your best effort to find, nothing remains of the indent in the floor. It requires a key or some object. Despite your curiosity, you'd have to move on to the tapestries, or if you've already explored everything you want to, then you can settle in to continue waiting for the cleric. 294. Alright, Selene finally returns to the temple through the main doors, face ashen and muttering under her breath. The hem of her white robes is stained black with what looks like soil, some of it falling in clumps off her slippers. You startle her. Oh! A flash of fear and anger passes over her face before she composes herself. She continues in a more measured and even cheerful tone. Who are you and what can I do for you? You've seen me before. You let her know you've been invited and you sure know. Ah, yes, of course, she says with a warming smile. Of course, you're the adventurer the mayor spoke of. How long have you been? Okay, yeah. You give a polite, non-committal answer. There's a good, that's good, the cleric says, obviously not having listened to your reply. I'm Selene, the caretaker of this temple. It's not often I receive guests, so if there's anything I can do for you before we can get the business at hand, Selene asks what you need to know and looks at you expectantly. You can't resist her obvious and earnest desire for some conversation. Okay. There's 3 things here. Ask about Tomlin, ask a dead connection, and wonder aloud why the temple is so big. So I'm going to start with Tomlin. I'm going in order. Tomlin's Lane says, her features falling for a moment before she puts a sad smile back on her face. Well, it's common knowledge that we were lovers at one point, though hardly an exclusive honor I have. She gives a bright laugh, checking to see if you're laughing too. Still, he said that he would wait for me, and I was his only love. When I was called back to my orders enclave, but it seems he found his second love, a second only love, a second. Oh Jesus, yeah, she's bitter. The cleric takes a moment. Oh, no. Yeah, sorry, just replying to something. Yep, sounds great. Alright. So, sorry, I'm going to continue reading. Someone sent me a direct message. Plans for Sunday. Alright, well, yes, common we're lower still. Okay. The pilgrimage back to the Order of the Radiant Light was difficult. The trip back, more difficult. But thinking of him made this lonely temple more bearable. Sadly, it was not to be. She takes another deep breath. I returned to the man I loved being betrothed to another. It was devastating, but I overcame it. After all, my duty is to all of Langston. You ask why she is telling you all this. This is common knowledge around town, she says, with an unusually broad smile. Better you hear it from me than the town gossip. So, with that out of the way, what can I do for you today, adventurer? You ask about the connection to the temple or the undead, or the size of the temple. I'm going to go with the connection to the undead. Selene looks shocked for a moment and studies your face carefully as she brushes at her dirty robes. Apparently satisfied with what she sees, the young cleric takes a deep breath and gestures to the tapestries hanging around you both. The temple was raised hundreds of years ago, long before Langston was here. These lands were ruled by the dead. The Order of the Radiant Light consecrated these grounds to prevent the dead from rising, but it was not enough. Some fell magic corrupted the soil, so that the dead buried in it rose again. Ashes scattered upon it returned as malevolent spirits. She pauses for a moment, clenching her fists and struggling with some overwhelming emotion. When she continues, her voice shakes lightly. So to protect this land, a caretaker was installed. As long as the power of the Order of the Radiant Light remained in the temple, the land would be still. At least one member of our order has been present in Langston ever since. It is our duty to keep these lands safe as much as it is Roy's. You thank Selene for the story. But you aren't here for a history lesson. What can I do for you? Already asked about Tomlin. I have to ask why the temple is so big. 268. Selene looks around as if seeing the temple for the first time. Oh, it is rather large, isn't it? She says with a smile. Apparently, there was a time that being the caretaker of the town wasn't a solitary post. There was a whole community full of protectors. But that just isn't the case anymore. You ask how that changed over time. Most people don't even know why the temple is here anymore, she says, gesturing up at the tapestries hanging on the walls. But the temple is why Langston is here. The temple keeps the dead in their graves, or it has until now anyway. She trails off, and you're about to ask her more about her more before she looks back at you with an unusually big smile, and why it will come to do so for as long as the Order of the Radiant Light remains in place here at the temple. It only needs one of us to fulfill the terms of the spell, so I'm here alone, only going on a pilgrimage to my Order's enclave and returning before the magic can fade. She pauses, rubbing her hands on her robe, but still smiling at you. I won't lie though, it does get lonely from time to time. So thanks so much for stopping by. What else can I do for you? Well, we've asked her about Tomlin, we've asked her about the undead, and we've asked about the size of the temple. It's time to go see Maybelline's body. You say you're here to examine Maybelline's body. The mayor has informed you that the body is due to be buried tomorrow, and that this may well be your last chance to gather some clues to the identity of the killer. No, Selene says with an empathetic shake of her head, definitely not. It's just not necessary and in front of the family of the deceased. I'm very sorry, but I can't let you do that. You're confused. This was your purpose to your visit. You can try to understand her resistance, or try to convince her to let you see Maybelline. I'm going to try and convince her. You make Selene see reason. You must see the body. You try to make Selene see reason. Roll a persuasion check against a DC 12. If you get a 12 or more, go to 304. If you get under 12, go to 506. 256. Okay. So, I have to roll now. I have to roll persuasion. What is my... I'm going to check my persuasion real quick. I think it's a +3. We rolled it before. Yeah, it's a +3. I rolled that before. Right. Oh, I really could use those 2 points of inspiration right now, I feel. RD20 +3. I have to just get a 12 though, so it's not too bad. So if I get a 9 or higher, so I've got over a 50% chance of getting this. Alright, we're spending the inspiration. Oh, 5 again. Alright, we're not going. Right, hold on now. There goes my last point of inspiration. Alright. I got under a 12. 256. Selene remains unconvinced that it's a good idea. It's just not appropriate. I couldn't do that to the poor girl's family. No other choice available. You present the mayor's letter to her. She reads through it, a frown creasing her brow. Finally, she sighs and hands it back to you. I suppose I have no choice in the matter, she says. You'll find Maybelline in the cemetery's mausoleum. An altar there is enchanted to preserve her until burial. You'll find her body there. You thank Selene and say goodbye. I shouldn't have spent that. God damn it. She smiles a moment and nods, and then turns her attention to the tapestries in the hall. You leave the temple, go to the cemetery. That wasted my inspiration. Oh, okay. Following Selene's directions, you enter the cemetery from the north, with a bright morning sun streaming across the whole graveyard. The hard edges of the headstones are limned with golden light. Flagstone paths wind between the rows of graves covered with grass. From what you can see, the mausoleum stands in the center of the graveyard. Built as the same light-colored stone as the temple. It stands vigil over the more varied headstones and monuments that mark individual resting places. Flowers in various stages of freshness dot the headstones and plots throughout the cemetery, with a larger, fresher collection on the mausoleum steps. Off the left, you see one of the graves is disturbed in a strange eruption of deep black earth. It doesn't look like the grave that's been dug, but you can't tell from here what it is. You can look at the dug up grave, or if you want, go straight to... I'm going to look at the dug up grave first. 264. As you approach, you see that the earth was hastily dug up, but from underneath. Poking up through the earth and bits of rotted casket, you see a skeleton frozen in what looks like an attempt to free itself from the earth. Reaching to the sky, but its skull is cracked and sits at a lopsided angle. It was a zombie trying to get out. Based on the amount of decomposition on the headstone, this person has been dead for decades. However, besides the fact the skeleton is half hanging out of a mound of fresh black earth, bits of thin wooden dirt on the skeleton's fingers indicate that it dug its way out. It seems these remains had a brief respite from being fully dead. Whatever magic reanimated the skeleton is gone. However, there's a large crack in the skull, a broken piece of paving stone nearby, half buried in the usual dark soil, as if someone threw a flat stone a second time. Though odd, you can't see anything threatening about the disturbed grave. It's time you do what you came for and examine Maybelline's body. The mausoleum is a stone structure with a large white limestone altar in the middle of the room. There are no windows, but it is lit with recessed orbs set into the ceiling, casting bright light throughout the structure. The body of a young woman is lying on the white slab. Even at this distance, you can see deep gouges across the woman's face, neck, and forearms. She clutches a ragged bouquet of pink flowers in her hand. A white sheet, presumably to cover the body, is lying on the ground beside the altar. You freeze as the body slowly turns its mangled face to look at you. With a snarl, Maybelline's corpse sits up from the altar and begins to stagger towards you. Well, I guess we saw this one coming. 286. Risen corpse. Hit points 22. AC 8. I'm just going to put it as zombie Maybelline. Maybe she died with it. Maybe it's Maybelline. I am not sorry for that joke. Alright, time to change the music. So, go.
You really should be. That was terrible. That was utterly horrible.
weird that she has... Those are oddly high int, wiz, and charisma for an undead. Alright. So... Oh shit, I should have drank the bear. Oh no, I'll say... Oh, so she's got to hit a 15 or lower. Okay. Time to roll it. R D20. What did I say her plus was? I'll check myself. +3. There's a decent chance to hit then. She misses. Okay, she tries to slam me. She misses. Okay, I've done 9 damage to her so far. Okay. I'm going to use my bonus action to drop my change shape and turn into a dragon. So bear with me 1 second. I'm going to actually display this. Open up VC face. My 3D model. Oh, I want to change into an actual dragon. Dragon versus zombie, let's go. Oh, VC face, don't be slow. Start. Alright. So turning into a dragon, dropping it as a bonus action. Alright, so I've changed into a dragon. Oh, my dragon... Oh, it isn't. Why is my dragon thing showing up? My 3D image just turned off right now. Oh, yeah, 3D model's off. There we go. 3D model's on. Okay. Ah. Alright, I've already used my breath weapon. So that's gone. I am going to use... I'm going to attack her with a claw attack now. And if I hit, I'm going to use... Oh, I've already used my bonus action. Fuck it, I'll use the club. So, I'll use the club and I'll use my draconic...
You're not actually on the screen, by the way.
Am I not on the screen?
No. Oh, wait, hang on a moment. No, there we go.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Screen delay.
Yeah, the delay. That was it.
Screen
Okay.
delay.
Yeah, because it's on my OBS. Yeah, that makes sense. I decided to go for the larger size to show the difference in height between both my forms. Alright, so I'm going to use the club, because I can still technically hold that. R D20 plus 5. 17. That is a hit. Her AC is shit. And R 1d4 plus 3 for the damage. That is 6. I'd cast, but she's really close to me right now, so she's down to 7 health. Alright, it's her turn, so she gets to do a slam. If I recall correctly, she gets a +3 to hit me.
Does get a +3 to hit you.
Yeah. She misses. Okay, my turn again. I am actually going to attack with my claw this time. D20 +4, and if I hit her, I'm going to use a draconic surge to try and hit her again with the bite. Shit, I don't... Does that hit her? Oh, you logged into Roll20, did you? Oh, I do hit her. Yeah, she's only got an AC of 8. Okay, cool. So that's a hit. Draconic surge as my bonus action. R D20 +4. No, +2 because I can't include my strength modifier. 16. Those both hit. So R D4 plus D6, and I do have the modifier for my bite, but for my claw, but not my bite attack. So I slash and bite her for a total of 6 damage. She's down to 1 hit point. God damn it. Okay. So she's going to attack me now. R D20 +3.
13 to hit.
Oh, did you roll her attack?
Might as well. Might as well while I'm here.
Alright, 13. Like, I rolled a 10, you rolled a 13. Neither of those hit me. It's my turn again. Alright. R D20. I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go with the claw again, even though I don't need to. So R D20 +4. That's a hit.
She's dead.
Yeah, she is dead, but I'm gonna roll the damage anyway. D4 +4. No, +2, sorry. 5. Okay, did a little bit 5 over. I mauled her more than she was already mauled. So, DED, she is down. Okay. We are going to switch back to... Yeah. And while that is happening, I am going to change back to my tiefling disguise before Maybelline shows up here. Shame I had to manhandle the body, but you know. While that's loading, while that's loading, I'm gonna read. If you reduce a zombie to 0 hit points, go to 297. Oh, Maybelline's corpse rolls a Constitution saving throw, DC 5 plus the last damage you hit. So her con. Oh shit, where was it? Cameron, okay, good, okay, so let me just see here. Turn that off.
0. She fails.
Oh, she fails. Okay, good, okay, I have to go back, I have to find where I was. Do you remember what number I was at?
You are now to go to 246.
246, thank you. 246. 246. Game of it. You defeat the undead creature, and what remains of it falls lifeless to the ground once more. You can examine the corpse. Oh, you have to change the music. It's still battle music. All right. You can now examine the corpse for injuries you did not cause, or go back to the temple. I am going to examine it. Besides the wounds you inflicted, the body seems to have already been mauled by a wild animal. And now it's been mauled by a dragon. The claw marks are broad and deep, not what you'd expect from bony claws or even most beasts from forests. There's a rage to the pattern of the claw marks as well, with many crisscrossing seemingly at random. There's also the bouquet of pink flowers with a tag that the creature discarded you can examine. I'm going to examine it. I don't see why I wouldn't. The bouquet of daisies accented with pretty pink flowers, but they're the only ones here in the mausoleum. Go and check the tag, and it simply reads, "Rest well, Maybelline." It is signed Tomlin, the herbalist. He did say she liked pink and purple. So that does track. The flowers are crushed and broken, the only ones that the zombie picked up from outside the mausoleum. Oh, she picked them up herself. With all that information you've collected, you need to go back to the temple and let her know what's happened. 250. Solane is surprisingly still in front of the entry hall. She is staring up at the tapestry showing holy warriors radiating something, destroying an army of skeletons. She jumps and stifles a shriek when you rush into the temple entry hall. You're back. So soon, I mean. What did you learn? Ooh, she's more suspicious. Yeah, you tell her what you just saw, that you had to kill poor Maybelline a second time. It shouldn't be possible, Selene whispers over and over as she clutches her holy symbol. She ignores you, and the silence stretches into an awkward length of time. You interrupt her reverie, go to 306, or snap her out of it, go to 273. I think I want to snap her out of it. Solane stands in relative silence for a moment, looking up startled. You're still here. You should speak to the mayor, she says, and I must return to my studies. Yes. The answer should be in there. It must be in there. She rushes into the library to the northern passage. With nothing else happening here at the temple, you shrug and make your way to the town hall to speak to the mayor. Go to 252. You leave Solane anxiously talking to herself at the temple and hurry back to the town hall. The mayor's aide greets you at the door and escorts you to her office. Did you learn anything new? She says instead of greeting, as she is writing in some document in a wooden ink pen. You let her know that Maybelline's corpse rolls to attack you. The mayor sets down her pen and gives you her whole attention. You explain everything you saw in the cemetery. That shouldn't be possible, blurts the aide. The first real emotion you've seen him express. The temple and its cleric are meant to protect the town. Is the magic fading? What of Solane? What is she doing about it? You say that you left her in the temple and it's not clear what she will do next. Compose yourself, the mayor says to her aide before addressing you. With this new threat, we must complete the murder investigation. Damn right we must. The mayor orders the aide to call up the militia and patrol the graveyard, especially at night, and draw up a proclamation announcing the accusation of Maybelline's murder. First Maybelline, and now this. The aide mumbles as he leaves the office. Maybe it's time to go to school in the city like Mother wants. We could use your help patrolling the streets, the mayor says. I didn't get damage and I didn't use any spells. I did use my breath weapon though. But I can get my breath weapon back with a short rest. So there's that. If you can manage after your ordeal today. I think I'll go on patrol with the militia. With a 301. Gain inspiration. Okay, that was worth it. You offer to join the militia as they guard the town against the undead. I'm just making sure my avatar is up. Okay. Fortunately for you and your group of club and pitchfork wielding companions, you find no more zombies or skeletons. However, you do find the remains of two bodies seemingly torn apart. The wounds are identical to those that killed Maybelline. The party returns. I need to drink some of my water. Did I finish my tea? I did. Okay. In the deepest darkness of the wee hours when the waning moon is set and the only light outside the town are the stars shining through patchy clouds, you stumble exhausted to your room and flop onto your bed without undressing. Barely enough energy to let your gear clatter the floor as your tiredness overwhelms you. It feels like the blink of the sun is streaming through the window as you haul yourself out of bed. Gain the benefits of a short rest, which is what I need to get my breath weapon back. So there we go. Gonna hit save. Yeah. Checking outside your door, there is no breakfast this morning. You gather your things and search for some food. You find the mayor sitting beside a bowl of plain oatmeal and a cup of tea waiting for you. Go to 317. A tray of food is waiting for you on one of the tables across from the mayor, who is calmly waiting with both hands folded and a cup of tea steaming at her elbow. You sit down to eat and her face tightens in what you assume is her smile. Today you will make the accusations, he says. The whole town is likely to attend. We will do it in the town square. You acknowledge that you are ready to accuse someone of killing Maybelline. She sits with you as you both finish your morning meal, and then escorts you to the town hall. Since you helped the mayor rid the town of Horace and Titch, the silence remains, but now it's taken on companionable quality lacking any previous awkwardness. The mayor nods and says, with the added threat of the undead, we must resolve the murder investigation quickly. My aide will make himself available to you, or if you need to visit the general store, this will be your last chance before the town gathers. I have 2 potions of healing, so I'll leave my money for now. After this point, you may now visit the general store. Continue from here, from where you are, ready. I will take my leave now, she says, and my aide will prepare the documents you require to accuse the killer. Without my presence, good luck, adventure. Once you are ready, the aide will accompany you to the outside town square. Go to 334. I don't need to go to the general store. I have my 2 health potions, and that's enough. You emerge from the town hall to a gathered crowd. It seems like the whole town has arrived and surrounded the entrance, waiting for you to deliver the results of your investigation. Most of the townsfolk are unknown to you, but you are able to pick out a few who you had spoken of the past few days. The aide has set up a small table with a single document, a quill, and an ink pot. He lifts a document and starts to read the formal accusation of the murder of Maybelline, a citizen in good standing of Langston. It details the circumstances of her life and death in some jumbled legalese. I should understand that because of my background. So you turn your attention to the people gathered in front of you, most of whom are the common folk who you haven't had a chance to meet yet. Towards the front of the crowd, however, you can see the now familiar faces of Tomlin, Roy, Solane, and Mayor Anathram. Accompanying the mayor, you see a few militia members standing at ease with long clubs hanging at their belts. Tomlin stands at relative ease, an attractive woman standing close enough to him to touch, but barely not doing so. God damn it, Tomlin! We caught you in this. Roy smiles as you emerge, his nose and cheeks still ruddy with illness, but his eyes bright and clear. Okay, so he's feeling better now. Solane stands alone in the crowd with her white robes, a stark contrast to the homespun clothing of most townsfolk, and her face drawn with apparent exhaustion. Mayor Anathram, or Tanya the Wolf of the Road as you now know her to be, stands rigid and imposing as ever, but she graces you with a nod nonetheless. Her aide steps in front of you to address the crowd. These are trying times for Langston, and you are all afraid. Maybelline's death was tragic, and she was taken long before her time. While she is now beyond our reach, we can still get justice for her death. The aide turns to you as he dips his quill in the ink. You feel the eyes of the entire town bear down on you, as well as the writing of who murdered Maybelline. Who murdered Maybelline? With the aide asks for finality. Accuse Tomlin, accuse Roy, accuse Solane, or accuse Tanya? I'm going to accuse the obvious answer, Solane. It's her. You declare Solane cleric of the Radiant Order, the killer. A shocked murmur ripples through the gathered townsfolk, a few people even crying out their disbelief. With pursed lips, the aide of Solane's add accusation against Solane to your inventory. Yeah. Accusation against. I'm sorry for suspecting you, Roy. You saved my ass.
So it looks like you have a couple of pieces of evidence.
Yeah, I've got a lot.
I don't know about the burnt clothes, but I know you've got the love
letter. Oh, I have the burnt clothes. Yeah, the burnt clothes are there.
Okay.
I checked out all of those, so go to 318. I didn't mark it down, but I do remember checking it out. You present a love letter and the aide reads it. What's this? What does it have to say? Cries of a voice of crowd. What is it? Calls another. Please, Solane says quietly but firmly. Please don't. It's a personal letter, the aide says, from Solane to Tomlin, confessing a deep ahem romantic feelings and hinting at something else. Motive maybe the mayor, but hardly evidence. If you haven't done so yet, you can show the invite. The burnt clothes. I'm going to go for the burnt clothes. I'm saving the silk ribbon for last because that is the damning evidence. They displayed burnt clothing, and many in the crowd noticed the bloodstains. I'm a healer, Solane scoffs. Many of those in need for me are bleeding when they call, so it's not unusual to discard old robes. You ask if it's common for her to burn them when she's out. What else am I supposed to do with them? Her voice edging toward Trill. Donate bloody rags to the poor. The crowd has also noticed Solane's shift in tone, and people are starting to gossip. The young cleric looks out and sees heads bobbing together in whispered conversation. Her chief goes, "This evidence is compelling. It's still circumstantial at best," says the aide. "Have you anything else to present?" I'm going to present the silk ribbon. Read the silk ribbon. You present a silk ribbon you found in the temple, evidence of the deed. Maybelline's ribbon, Tom shouted. Solane, how did you get that? Solane is at a loss for words, her mouth hanging open. Tomlin rushes you, reaching for the ribbon, but stops himself. I gave that to her for her birthday, he says, her last birthday, and she was wearing it on the night you killed her. Yeah. Eyes flashing with anger, Tomlin spins on Solane and raises a fist. Luckily, two men from the crowd rush forward and hold him back. Chest heaving, He shakes them off, but he returns to his companion. He jumps as she touches his arm, but when he looks over at her, he seems to find some composure. In the meantime, the townsfolk have backed away from Selene, leaving her small and isolated, but she isn't looking at her. Her eyes are fixed on Tomlin, and her mouth is pressed into a thin line. Ahem, says the aide, just scholar. So do you have any other evidence? But no, that's everything. I'm resting my case. I think we've heard enough, Mayor Anathram says. Take Selene into custody. So that's it, Selene says as two militia members approach her. Don't you want to know how I did it? He's admitting it. The two men just outside arm's reach as they look nervously. The smile spreads across her face, has no trace of meek kindness, and is shown so far. It hints at growing madness. Come closer and I'll show you. Sensing the danger, the two militia members flanking Selene reach for her just as the cleric doubles over in what seems like excruciating pain. The angry, crackling rip sounding emanates from the side of the cleric's body. It bulges and ripples, splitting her white robes as muscles and fur sprout from her body. Limbs elongate and her fist twists into a bestial muzzle. And through it all, the crowd standing wrapped in horror. The only sound is Selene's pained laughter, which drops into a guttural snarl. No! Roy gasps, werewolf! I try to remember his Scottish accent. In the moment of blind heroism, the two militia members to either side of the cleric rush to try and restrain her, but she rakes them with her powerful arms, ending in lock calls. Both men cry out as spurts of blood and fall to the ground. Tomlin's new woman clings to him and the cleric changes and Selene howls rage. You, she says, pointing at Tomlin. You are now and always will be mine. She charges at her former lover, teeth bared, saliva streaming. Oof. Whatever collectible uncertainty held the crowd in place vanishes in the face of all that blood, and stampede begins. You are buffeted by panic and townspeople. Dear gods, no, Tomlin screams, his voice high with fear. Powered by rage and her natural Selene snatches him up with her clawed hand as if he weighs nothing more than a ragdoll and bounds through the crowd. Through the tumult, you see her leave a trail of fallen townsfolk, most merely knocked over to the ground, and she... Oh shit, I went too far. She reaches one of the walls of the building nearby. She scrambles one-handed up the roof, her claws leaving long slashes in the whitewashing wood. Reaching the roof, she pauses to let out a long, keening howl before sprinting across the roof, moving to the east of the temple. Arm yourselves and go after her, Mayor Anathram yells. She takes over crowd control, directing some citizens away from the danger while calling out to rally the militia. Members scattered among the throng of panicking townsfolk. Break the curse if you can, Roy calls out, touching a hand to his chest. We'll tend to the wounded. He then drops to the side of the fallen militia members. The druid begins chanting, and his hands glow green as he lays over the men's wounds. Not hesitating, you sprint through the streets of Langston toward the temple. Go to 360. You run at your top speed through the empty streets of Langston, sprinting to the southwest toward the temple. Your body is rushing in your ears, and your lungs are burning as you hope that you're going to be in the. You hope you're going in the right direction. The cobblestones of the street fly past below you, and the walls of the people's homes and businesses loom to either side, framing the morning sky as you run. However, the sky's blue darkens to the red of an approaching sunset. After making a couple turns, almost by instinct, you come to a four-way intersection in front of the mayor's home. You stop to get your bearings and catch your breath. A man's scream, loud and high with terror, pierces the air straight ahead, then stops suddenly. You renew your pursuit, dashing again towards the southeast. You pass through the cemetery on your way to the temple, and everything there is still in quiet. The only movement you can see is a gathering flock of crows and ravens around a courtyard. You're sure you're too late, but you redouble your speed regardless. But your hopes are dashed as you enter the temple courtyard. Tomlin lies dead, in a spreading pool of his own blood. Dark birds already preparing to scavenge from the corpse. The morning sun hangs in the sky, seems stained by the blood on the ground. Looking around, Selene is nowhere to be found. However, evidence of her passing is visible in the claw marks left in the ground, a trail of blood, and the smashed-in door to the temple. Follow the temple to finish this 3-2-4, or stay back and first examine the murder. I'm going to examine the murder scene. All right. Okay. You assess the area to see if there's any clues about the threat Selene poses, and how to neutralize her. Roll an intelligence investigation check or roll a wisdom perception check. And if you roll a 10 or more, go. I have a default of a passive 10 perception. I'm going to use that. 3, 4, 7. Tomlin's chest and neck were torn apart by powerful strikes. Unlike Maybelline, whose wounds were haphazard and widespread, there is much more purpose to Tomlin's wounds. There is anger present in their depth, ragged edges, but these were deliberate strikes with intent to kill. The bloody paw prints lead away from the corpse towards the temple, include a place where they circle back, as if Selene took one last look at the broken body before escaping into the place where she feels safest. There's nothing else of note around here. You leave the body at the crows and find Selene. You pass through the courtyard and its outdoor altar quickly. On your way to the front hall, when you enter the temple, it doesn't have the same sun-drenched charm as the first time you arrived. The red light streaming in the window gives everything an air of menace, tinging even the shadows with bloody highlights. The tapestries depicting the dead seem darker, almost as if they are absorbing the light itself and feeding off of it. The main hall where you met Selene on your last visit is also changed. Instead of the sunburst mosaic, there is a spiral staircase bearing the same motif circling down into the darkness below the temple. Though it's impossible Selene escaped down one of the corridors, you feel certain she has instead retreated into the darkness below. You cautiously descend the steps below to find the corridors. You know what? I'm dropping my humanoid form. I'm going down as a dragon. I'm going to change shape and go after her because it doesn't put any benefits, but if we're going to go monster to monster, I'm going to do it right. I'm a little too big there, hold on. Yeah, that's similar to what I was before. Okay. Yeah. So where we're escape down the darkness, you cautiously... Yeah, the rough-hewn, damp stone, what seem like animal bones in various stages of decomposition. You proceed, you find your way lit by the same glowing orbs you saw above ground. But this is clearly part of the original temple. Its purpose in a temple devoted to the sun, however, is unclear. You keep your wits about you as you advance down the corridors carefully at every turn, not to become another set of bones on the floor. Go to 363. In the dim light of magical illumination, you quickly figure out while the corridors twist a couple of times, they all lead to the same place, a large chamber where it seems Selene has made a lair for herself. Oh, there's the temple. Oh my god, look at that. You can see the blood going into it. You can see the doors are smashed. You can see the crows. Oh, there's Tomlin's body. Oh my god! Look, there's even a description of it there. Oh, when you arrive, the cleric is still in werewolf form, and I'm in dragon form. Inside her room, she stares at her bloody claws, huffing out in canine whines. You approach her cautiously. But there is nowhere to hide. You make no attempt at stealth. She notices you immediately, but doesn't move from where she is. You shouldn't be here. Go away. Try to talk to her. Take action immediately to end the threat. I'll try and talk to her. I feel like I've got an intimidating presence in dragon form. I gain inspiration. Yes, I gain inspiration. Got 2 points of inspiration for this fight. You indicate you just want to talk. How would I have taken form? Yeah. She narrows her eyes and a lip curls back from her fangs as she considers your presence, then licks her muzzle and relaxes a little. What do you want to know, adventurer? You at least bought a little time to find out more about Maybelline. Ask her why she killed Maybelline, or Tomlin, or start from the beginning to find out how she... I'm going to start with why she killed them. Start with Maybelline. You ask her why she killed Maybelline, and she stands up straight with her hackles rising teeth bared. Because she was a lying little vixen, she snaps. Oh, everyone loved the innocent little maid who sold her family's produce in the market. She was Langston's golden child. But she showed me her true colours. You asked Elaine what Maybelline actually was. A scheming little wench stealing Tomlin from me was just the beginning. I don't know what she wanted in the end, but she was not the kind sweet soul everyone thinks she was. She was cruel. Selene loses some of her humanity in the memory of it. She laughed at me, mocked me for my faith, for being the servant of Langston instead of twisting around my finger as she had. And then she was dead. She's a dubious. She's an unreliable narrator for that story, I feel. The werewolf looks at her claws and shows her teeth. You realize she is smiling. You can see her humanity slipping further. Good. He looks up at you, and the eyes that meet yours are not those of a devout spiritual leader. Those are the eyes of a killer. And you suddenly sure that if you don't do something quickly, you will be next. If you haven't done so yet, you can try to engage Solene with her motive behind killing Tomlin, or ask her. I'm going to ask her why she killed Tomlin. She wanted him. You ask her why she killed Tomlin, and she flinches. Tomlin betrayed me, she says, her ears flattened against her huge head. He lied to me, used me, and dropped me for that market hawker as soon as he could. You ask if she loved him, and she snarls, of course I did, you fool. More than anything, more than I should have, and he used that against me again and again. There's a violent anger coiling in Solane now, and she starts to pace. If only he had chosen me. This could have been different. Everything could have been different. She starts shaking her head, clenching and unclenching her hands. You try to distract her with more questions about why she killed Maybelline, or go into how she contracted her curse. So yeah, that's the last one. Tomlin's chest and neck were torn apart by powerful strikes, unlike... Oh no, that's the wrong one. Yeah. It was on my pilgrimage, he says. I returned to the Radiant Order to report and speak to my mentor. But I was attacked by a wolf one night. I drove it away with holy magic and healed my wounds. It was frightening, but I thought little more of it. When she returned to her order's monastery, she fell ill. No one there could help her, but no one thought to assess her for curses. She ran a fever and was delirious. On the next full moon, she shaved uncontrollably and blacked out. When she came to, she was bathed in a farmer's field surrounded by mutilated sheep. She bathed in blood in a farmer's field surrounded by mutilated sheep. She left amidst the investigation without anyone suspecting her and returned home, hoping to rid herself of the curse. Well, most call this a curse. The curse of lycanthropy. Look at what I've done. Look what I have the power to do. She holds up her claws still wet with Tomlin's blood. This is a power I have never had as a cleric. She says, I was powerless, a servant to the people of this town, healing coughs and broken wrists. But now, I have real power. She lets out a whining giggle as you can see in her eyes that something has come loose in her mind. Of course, that power is gone. hold on, where was that? Of course, that power is gone. And with it, the temple's power protecting these lands. But that's also fitting, isn't it? Could that be what Langston deserves? Alright, if you have more questions, you could try to de-escalate the conflict. Assurance that you can if she comes peacefully, or take measures to end the threat. Alright. You promise Elena that if she surrenders, you will not hurt her. The creature in front of you lets out a rumbling laugh. They were all ready to hang me for the girl. You think they're willing to forgive me now? After what I did in the square, you're a fool. Flexing her powerful limbs, she advances towards you, any trace of their quiet sweetness already gone. Only the predator remains. If I get rid of you, I can escape to live and kill another day. She says, starting to advance on you. Selene of the Radiant Order is dead, and you're about to join her. Her eyes flash, and you will have to take some action to end Selene start to Langston. 350. Inexperienced
that's
werewolf.
a nice looking werewolf.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's a really nice looking werewolf.
She kind of hot, though. Alright. Okay. As an action, I can throw the filter of remembrance. I've got 10 charges in that. I didn't use it at all. So, yeah, I guess I could do that. Draw your weapon. Draw the moon shard. What's the moon shard again? Or draw the scrappling claw. If you have any magical ability, and you can also try to cast a spell. It's lame. Okay. As an action, I'm going to throw the filter of remembrance at her. 353. You hurl the filter of remembrance at Selene from out of range. The glass smashes against the floor, and the sparkling venom for Strata. What is this smell? She sees it's so familiar. She sneezes violently. Roll a wisdom saving throw for Selene. If the save is 8 plus the number of doses, it's 18. She has disadvantage on her save due to her sense of smell, and her wisdom modifier is +1. So she has to roll at disadvantage and gets a +1. Alright. Alright, so R2D20 KL1 +1. Twelve. She fails because it's an 18 she has to beat. Yeah. Absolutely savage. All right, you're kind of cutting in and out. Your voice is not coming. If she fails, go to 325. The filter remembers glowing vapors curl up from around the ground and wrap around and through Selene's head. Her nose twitches on her muzzle and her large ears swivel, searching for the source of the sound. Tomlin? Is that you, Tomlin? She runs. Oh, picnic, how romantic. Thank you, darling. She sighs and sits on her haunches as she stares off into the middle of the distance. No sooner does she settle in, but she starts rocking back and forth, whimpering to herself. No, 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 no. Staring at Wells. Don't leave me, Tomlin. Stay with me. She stops speaking, although lost in remembrance. Roll 1d4 and mark a result. Selene is considered stunned for that number of rounds of actions equal to your dice roll. Okay, I have to roll for, what did you, oh yeah, you're rolling there. Let me see what you rolled.
Stunned for two
turns. Alright. So, go back to 3-5. I still have the silver star. Okay, we gotta roll. Yep. I'm gonna change the music. We gotta roll for initiative now. But I'm gonna choose to cure her curse.
Well, she is stunned, so if you want to attempt a successful attack roll, you can make an attack roll.
No, first we roll for initiative. Her initiative is, I'll show that to you again. Her initiative
is +2.
So it is. Okay, so you roll her initiative and I'll roll mine. I'm also +2. Well, okay. Our D20 +2. 9. She goes first, so she's got one round. My turn now. I'm going to touch her with the silver star. I'm going to see what happens.
So you need to make an unarmed strike attack.
All right.
So whatever your unarmed
I
strike
have claws, so that's technically an unarmed strike.
Yeah.
I'm gonna attack her with my claws then. So RD20 plus 4.
At advantage, because you are within melee range of her.
That is 2.
And she is stunned.
2d20. KH1 plus 4. That's a 12. And now I've hit her successfully with that. Go to 3, 6, 4. In the ebb and flow of battle, Selene tries to slash you with her claws, trying to connect with magic item in your hand. In the eternity that is Mortal Kombat, you're in a stalemate, neither having the upper hand for a split second. We're seeing a werewolf and a dragon try and slash at each other right now, which is kind of epic to imagine. Neither having the upper hand. But through the flurry of claws and teeth, you leap forward and make contact with the Silver Star. Magic thuds out of the silver brooch into Selene, locking you both into place. As you feel the magic rope pouring out, the Mayor of Anthem and Roy lead a small group of townspeople into the chamber. And then you can see a dragon standing on top of As all of you stand wrapped, as you press the silver tier, press the werewolf, they just see a dragon, just like, a dragon that kind of looks like the adventurer they've seen this entire time. There's a loud crack and a shower of brightly sparkling motes of light around the Silver Star. Selene jerks and howls long and low to echo through the underground lair. As the lights continue to dance and spin down to earth, Selene's transformation proceeds to reverse. The fur covering her body retracts back into her skin, and her limbs shorten and contract into human form. Her howl becomes a scream and she drops to her knees. No, 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 she yells, gathering the tatters of her robes around herself. Dear gods, no! She looks down at her small pale hands stained with Tomlin's blood, looks up at you, tears streaming down her face. How dare you take that away from me, she demands. Now I'm just me again. She collapses to the ground, sobbing bitterly into her red-stained hands. Roy and Mayor Anathram step back to a respectful distance. The militia members flank her and gently carry off the broken cleric. Go to 338. I need some more water. Let's change the music back again. That was not a long combat.
No, in all fairness, you also have taken every single step to go through everything.
Yeah.
Which means you're going to have all of them, like, the requirements to basically just end the combat without there actually being a combat.
Yeah. Well, they know I'm a dragon now, so there's no point in me changing. It's like, look, I figured that this would be less awkward. Plus, you kind of had someone who was a wild beast maul. We saw it was a werewolf who confessed. So we're sure it's all good now, right? I didn't do it, because I'm new to town. Yeah.
The thing is as well.
Yeah.
You could just say, well, you are also of a style of draconic sorcerer who is able to transform themselves like a druid into a dragon.
I think the mayor and Roy would see right through that. I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to bother. Actually, I think Selene fires a last look over the shoulder. Oh no, hold on, I have to read the whole thing. As militia members lead Selene away, Selena, you see how dark the rings under her eyes have gotten, how she staggers from exhaustion, and how she clings to her shredded vestments around her. The disgraced cleric is a broken woman. It is impossible to tell when she gave up her humanity to the beast she has become. As she is escorted from the chamber, Selene fires a last look over her shoulder. A mysterious smile spreads across her face suddenly, and then she vanishes down the corridor. On her way back to the surface, they're leading her up. Nice work, adventurer, Roy says in customary joviality. It was touch and go there for a bit, but you pulled it off. Indeed, the mayor says in emphatic nod. The town owes you gratitude, and I'm thankful as well. You accept both leaders' praise and prepare to take your leave. Let's walk with you. I would like to speak with you both before the day is done. Aye, I could do that. Let's be off. The three of you leave the now empty lair together, bound for town, and the end of your quest. Go to 332. When you emerge from the temple, you see the morning skies return. Roy and the Mayor Anathram speaking with each other, which means Roy is regaling her with a long-winded tale of his youthful exploits as part of an adventuring party. As you walk the streets, you see townfolk emerging from their homes to speak to neighbours, and the mood is bright. Selene's capture travelled quickly, and the relief is palpable. Taking much longer at a normal pace, you return to the town hall. A group of locals is out in the square with scrub, brushes, and soapy water, taking the blood off the cobblestones. The mayor's aide is waiting by the entrance to the town, smiling as you approach victoriously. Yep, just walking up to the dragon. This way, please. He says to you, addresses the mayor. I prepared everything in your office, ma'am. Buttercup is waiting in the office as well. Safe from harm's way in the temple, seeing your trio, he bounds up to you and rushes past the mayor to lick Roy and prance around the dwarf like, aye, aye. Roy says, wipe his face, all's well, lad. That seems Buttercup likes Roy. The mayor takes her seat behind the desk as Roy shoos Buttercup back to the dog bed. She steeples her fingers together as Roy finds a nearby armchair to settle into. The results of your investigation will affect your reward, adventurer. Selene is facing consequences for actions, so must you. Check your inventory for the role. Aha! I accuse Selene. So 369. Selene had us all fooled. She was well liked, well loved even. Such a sad turn of events. But now the people of Langston can rest easier, Mayor Anathram says. You have their gratitude and mine. She hands you a large coin pouch, considerably heavier than you expected. 350 gold pieces.
Damn.
Yeah,
I'm gain a level.
I also gain a level. Hell yes, I'm adding the gold now, and we might as well.
Any other treasures that items or treasures you found upon your adventure are kept as well.
Oh yeah, I also have to mark real quick. So I threw the
Potion of Remembrance.
Yeah, the Polypack Secure recipe is there. Yeah, we're supposed to, the Filter of Remembrance. Yeah, that's gone. I threw the whole thing.
Yep, and so is the charge at least on the silver.
Yeah, if I learn Remove Curse, I can restore it.
You can.
Yeah. And that's handy, because then when I take a long rest, that means I have an extra thing of Remove Curse, should I need it in these adventures.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to say that I've had time to sell the brooch and the dagger, so that's another 20 gold pieces for me.
Mm-hmm.
So we're selling those. I'm gonna put that gold in. So that's 419.
Not bad for a day's work.
Yeah, 419 gold pieces and 9 silver pieces. I'm doing pretty good. I'm gonna save that for the next adventure, because who knows what I could buy with that. And I've still got my 2 healing potions. Like only the first fight fucked me up.
Got lucky then.
Yeah, I got very lucky. Yeah, so let's see here. Now let's continue on here with the story. Yeah, also keep you've earned every copper of that. You've earned every copper of that, adventurer, Roy says. No, fuck it. You've earned every copper of that, Criterius, Roy says. But we are hoping it does not satisfy you. But we're hoping it doesn't satisfy you fully, the mayor says. We have further business to discuss. You store away your coin as best you can, given its weight, and ask the mayor to continue. Go to the end of the adventure. It's right here. Looking back at the past few days, it feels like a much longer stay in this unassuming town. You've destroyed monsters big and small, cured diseases, broken curses, and likely even made a few friends. Well, I made friends with Roy and Mayor Anathram. Tomlin's dead. I don't think he was much of a friend to begin with. But, you know, I made 2 friends, 3 friends. We're counting Buttercup. Oh, and also the mayor's 8, so 4 friends. I made 5, but Tomlin's dead, so that's gotta be discounted. But the mayor and the druid want you to remain in Langston a while longer. Well, it's been challenging, Roy says. There's still much to do. Selene is in custody, Mayor Anatram said. Selene is in custody, Mayor Anatram says, but it is unclear if she still poses a threat now that her curse is broken. Roy continues. And her actions have clearly severed her connection to her divine power. But she's just so cramped. She is powerless and trapped. Powerless, trapped, and just sitting in a cell like she's waiting for something. There's also now the problem of the undead, Mayor Anatram says, and she seems suddenly tired. Now that there's no cleric of the Radiant Order, now the dead are not staying that way. Now that there's no cleric of the Radiant Order, the dead are not staying that way, Roy says. And there could be serious consequences of the temple being without a member of the Radiant Order maintaining the town's protections. You fulfilled your obligations to us, adventurer, but I hope you'll help us again. Come on, Roy says with a wink. You know whatever comes next will be fun. If you end the adventure here, you keep all the inventory items you've earned, so it's up to you. Or continue the epilogue and finish what you've started. Well, let's see what it is. Dawn breaks. A bleak over the homes of Langston. You are just returning from leading an uneventful night patrol. Not all of them being quiet. The town takes measures to quarantine the cemetery. The townsfolk walking in rows of headstones. Actually, I should level up first. So I have to open up Battle Zoo Dragons real quick. I am going to take the average for so hit points. So 5 plus my con modifier. I get 8 extra hit points. So I'm level 2 now. My hit points are 18. That's pretty good. Let's hope I can do this quickly. And I have 2 hit.
Battles with dragons, I highly doubt it.
Well, it's a second level. It's always quicker than the first level. All right. So level 2, I get a draconic gift. That's not bad. I get to add 1 more gift. That's all. I also have to see how many spells I have.
As a second level half-caster,
I get an extra cantrip.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I get an extra cantrip and I gain another gift. Okay. We'll worry about the cantrip after this, but first things first, I need to pick another gift. Oh, if I take draconic cantrip, I can get 2 extra gifts. 2 extra cantrips.
I mean, you could do that, yeah, and continue on.
Yeah. Oh, actually, if I take Dragon Scent, I get proficiency in perception. That wouldn't be bad. Yeah, I'm going to take... so Dragon Scent... Yeah, I extra I'm going to go with Dragon Scent. Because I already got an extra cantrip now. So Dragon Scent... Dragon Scent. I don't need to mark what that is because... I'll say advanced... proficiency... on perception checks involving smell, I believe it said as well.
Yeah, advantage on smell checks, and then perception as a skill, you'll know.
Related to spell. And I now have proficiency in perception, so that's now a +2.
And now your passive perception is 12.
Yeah! That'll help with any further. So I've done the health. I just have to pick the cantrip now. So, let's see here. I could go for Firebolt. Yeah, let's go with Firebolt. I could use... fire damage might actually come in useful sometimes. So it's good. I've already got Lightning Lore and Mind Sliver for psychic and lightning damage. So there we go. That's it done. That was quick. Wasn't bad at all. Alright. So now, yeah, dawn breaks. The townspeople take a minute to quarantine the cemetery. The townsfolk are walking rows of headstones with clubs to destroy any dead that claw their way out of the graves. However, Langston has stood in the spot for hundreds of years and has not always used the same cemetery to inter their dead. Over the past week, since capturing Solane, you have already dealt with animated remains of 2 people and several house pets. Oh man, I have to kill zombie pets! Ugh. The innkeeper greets you warmly. Yeah, they're all used to me being a dragon now. No point hiding it. As you stagger into the pickled hen with the townsfolk you led through the streets last night, he silently sets a hot meal in front of you and your companions as more militia members filter into the temporary headquarters for undead hunters. A few bites into your breakfast, the mare strides in at the head of her own patrol. If you look closely, you can barely see the tired lines around her mouth and eyes. Her rigid bearing seems unaffected by late nights. She directs her team to get something to eat and then joins you. And you ask her if there's been any word from the messenger. None, she says. None, she says. The Radiant Order is several days hard ride. We can't expect a cleric to arrive too soon. The two of you eat in silence for a few bites before the tavern door slams open and a bloodied Roy rushes in. In here, lads, he says. He sweeps everything off the table nearest to the door as 2 men from town carry the limp form of an injured woman. Set her down here and give me some space. You rush to his side as he lays his hands on the woman and begins chanting. A green glow emanates from around his hands before spurting and dying. He curses in several languages. Well, 2 of them are common Dwarvish. And isn't there a Druid language as well?
Yeah, Druidic.
Yeah, so we know he curses in those 3. There's probably a 4th or 5th as well. Adventurer, we're caught by 3 skeletons on Main Street, he says. For the amount of healing magic, go to Tomlin's house. He must have made some healing potions before he died. You look to the mare as she gives you a single nod. You bolt out the door on your way to the herbalist cottage. Or if you have your own healing abilities, you can offer to use them. I have 2 healing potions.
Healing potions?
Yeah. I don't have my own healing abilities. So, yeah, I could offer the potions. Go to 398. Sure. Well, we'll do... Oh, no. This is if there are no potions to be had. Yeah, no. Where was that? Because, yeah, that is...
380, was it?
380, yeah. It looks like they're looking specifically for healing abilities.
Healing specific, yeah.
It leaves the option of... Oh, no, it's not 380. Are you sure it was 380? It was 380 something.
Yes. Your lasting grasp... sorry. You're left gasping for breath as you arrive at Tomlin's cottage. It seems...
380 was something. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're left gasping for breath. We arrive at Tomlin's cottage. It seems like not long ago you were here helping him get rid of his garden of scraplings. Though in reality, it had been little more... Oh, yeah, I have to restart the music. It stopped again. God, I've been doing this stream for so long now, but I'm nearly done, so I might as well. Might get more rewards. Help him get rid of his garden. Though in reality, it's been a little more than a week. The cottage is corpse-like in that it looks exactly the same as last time you were here, but the darkened windows and the quiet grey dawn give the place disconcerting stillness. The person who brought this place to life is gone, and a shiver runs up your spine at the realization. But within could be the key to save someone else, so you set aside any discomfort, stealing from a dead man, and find your way in. You try the front door and it's locked. The trellises are high and thick with vines, and you know firsthand how hard they are to climb, even if the back door would be unlocked. Not worth the time, as someone likes bleeding. The options are picking the lock or break. I'm going to try breaking it down. Or breaking a window. Breaking a window would be easier, I imagine. 37. There are no elegant sutures. You smash a window and crawl through the rug glass. roll a dexterity save. If you roll under 10, take 1d4 damage as you land them. I'm going to count that as piercing. Okay. So, wait. Yeah, there we go. So, I have to make a dex save. I have +2 for my dex save, so I'm not too worried about that. RD20 +2. 12, I made it.
Okay, you go through into Tomlin's cottage.
Yeah. You drop through the window into Tomlin's cottage. Go to 386. The interior of Tomlin's house looks like the last time you saw it, only frozen time. No cauldron, bubbles, and no remedies are being distilled. With only the weak light from outside, the cottage is gloomy despite the brightly coloured ingredients drying, and mustiness is already moving in under the smell of herbs and flowers. Though you feel a twinge of sadness for Tomlin's passing, you collect yourself and start rifling through his belongings, looking for any unsold. Okay, investigation check. All right, I'm good at these. That's a +4. So, RD20 +4, 18. Alright. Let's see here now. Where are they? Oh! 3 potions of healing and 1 antitoxin to the inventory. That's good. Like the care he took with his garden, Tomlin was meticulous about organizing his ingredients and remedies. Everything is clearly labeled and in its place. It doesn't take you long to find what you're looking for. Your quick search turns up 3 bottles labeled as healing potions and a vial of antitoxin. Alright, let's... Oh, that's the wrong page. Yeah, so, potion of health, 5. Vial of antitoxin. 1. Alright. As you do one last check through the herbalist belongings, you come across a garland of woven, brightly coloured wildflowers. It looks like something one might wear in some kind of ceremony. You assume it's some part of the wedding that didn't happen. Interesting, all the flowers look and smell as if they were plucked from a meadow just minutes ago, though you don't see how that could be possible. Examining the garland, it shimmers slightly as you turn it. This could be helpful as well. At the very least, you should probably ask Roy about it. It's clearly magical, but you haven't the time to figure out what it does right now. Add Tomlin's garland to your inventory. All right, I'll add that to the treasure inventory. Wait, did I put the stuff back up? I did. Yeah. Okay. I won't put it in that because that's getting full, so I'll put it in treasure. Tomlin's garland. Alright. We'll find out what it does soon. Alright. On a last cursory check, doesn't reveal anything else that will be helpful. You rush out of Tomlin's cottage towards Pickled Hen, hoping it's not too late. 391. You burst into the Pickled Hen at the bedlam of Roy's arrival has calmed down. The injured militia member is lying on the table, her wounds wrapped in bandages, already stained through with blood. Roy is speaking. There were 3 of them this time, he said. There were 3 of them this time, just skeletons. But one of them got past me and caught the poor last good. Still no word on when the new cleric will arrive. None. Have you heard anything from Selene? Nothing. Just the same story that the land itself is cursed and the temple puts the dead to rest. But only a member of the Radiant Order, but only if there's a member of the Radiant Order caring for it. The mayor nods her head in acknowledgement of Roy's report and then notices. Did you find any potions? You say you did and hand one over. Oh, okay, so we're handing one over. So I'm down to 4. I put the it's already down. It's already 4. I'm meant to hit 5, but that's fine because I had 2. 3 plus 2 is 5. Minus 1 is 4. Roy takes it and administers it to the wounded woman on the table. Stiff with pain, being unconscious, she visibly relaxes as the druid pours the healing elixir in her mouth. That should do her. She'll at least be stable until I can recover my healing spells. How was your patrol, adventurer? You report to Roy and Mayor Anathram that your night's patrol was uneventful, but you also show Roy the garland you found in Tomlin's house. He says he examines it. This is a wedding garland. Not unusual in itself, made from flowers that symbolize love. But also some poisonous blooms in the mix, and the red ones? They only bloom in the spring. So they should be dead long ago. He turns the garland over, watching the magical shimmer. The mayor looks on dispassionately. But I don't see any harm in it, he says. I think we could do another diversion, eh, adventurer? Let's bring this back to Maybelline's folks. We'll give them a little memento and something for us to do while we wait for the new priest. Yeah. Okay, we are going to continue on with that. This is wedding garland. Yeah. Well, I don't see. Yeah. Without waiting for your reply, the energetic druid whisks you away from the tavern on your way out of town. Go to 376. You and Roy enjoy a companionable walk out of Langston in which you've come to terms with the events of the past weeks. You briefly discuss with Selene, with Roy voicing some concerns for her health and mental state. The poor lass was sweet before, he says, and there'd be people taking advantage of that, but she was an important part of this community. Comes as quite the shock to the town when Tomlin left her for Maybelline, especially so quickly. As you and Roy make your way through the country roads, the clouds continue to roll and a light drizzle starts to fall. You're damp and chilled by the time you reach your destination. Roy knocks gently at the farmhouse. Maybelline's mother opens the door and peeks out, but when she sees you and Roy, she gives you both a wide smile that doesn't reach her tired eyes. She looks thin and as if stretched too far, but that's to be expected given the recent events that have affected her family. If it isn't Roy and the adventurer who brought the priest to justice, she says, you must be freezing. Come in and warm yourselves by the fire. I've already have a kettle for the tea. She escorts you into a communal living area with a fire crackling gently in the hearth. Maybelline's father is sitting in a rocking chair, mending a harness of some beast of burden. He looks up to meet your eyes and nods. His eyes are rimmed with red dark circles encased in his eyes. They've both been crying, the poor folks. As Maybelline's mother bustles off towards the kitchen, Roy leans close and says under his breath, something is off here. I know these lands better than anyone, and something is wrong with the farm. You nod as Maybelline's mother comes in from the kitchen with a teapot and 4 cups. While she busies herself with the tea, you pull out the garland you found in Tomlin's house and present it to Maybelline's parents. Their faces darken when they see it. The adventurer found this in the home of your future son-in-law. Though I thought you might want it for closure. That looks so familiar, Maybelline's mother says, squinting at the garland. I think Maybelline made that herself. But weren't there 2? There were definitely 2, the father says. I remember Maybelline making them. He was humming and singing those funny little songs the whole time. Did you not find the other one? Roy shoots you a loaded look. This garland is unusual, he says. Do you know where the other one is? I don't, says the father. And you can see he's just as ineffectually picking at the harness at his lap. Well, you can take a look around if you think it will help. Maybelline's mother hasn't poured any tea and she's just starting steaming the pot. She looks up remembering, oh yes please, anything that you think might help. Shooting Roy a concerned look, you consider where you should look for the other garland, and it may be a clue to the couple's strange behaviour. You could check Maybelline's bedroom 381, the kitchen 374, or the flowers in the garden? I think we'll start with her bedroom. Alright. You search through... Wait, yeah, 3 at 1, yeah. You ask if it's alright to take a look at Maybelline's room, and her father just points. You and Roy look around carefully, but honestly, you find a twin garland you found in Thomas' cottage tucked under Maybelline's pillow. It has the same shimmer you saw with the first one. You hand Roy Tomlin's garland while picking up Maybelline's. You feel that the ring of wildflowers tugs slightly towards its counterpart, as if the two were trying to touch. It's hard to explain where it might be coming from, but there's a sense of longing coming from the braided wildflowers in your hand. You feel that too, eh? This looks like more and more like some kind of enchantment, but nothing like the spell I've seen before. The pull continues, an insistent force pulling the wedding garlands towards one another. Come here, cried Darius. I want to try something. Roy reaches out Tomlin's wedding garland to touch Maybelline's. Just don't fall in love with me, eh? You let the two strings of woven flowers touch each other, and the tugging sensation abruptly ends. The shimmer becomes a flash. When your vision clears, both of you and the druid are holding blackened chains of rotting flowers. Roll an Arcana check. If you roll a 15 or more, go to 378. I have good Arcana. I'm pretty sure it's +6. It is +6. Okay. Okay, I thought you were talking there, but I think that's actually my voice on your television screen there, or computer screen. Alright. 17! Alright, we're doing good, guys. Alright, better put that back on. 378. Okay, you identified the magic as some ancient love spell, though you have no idea how it might have come to be here in Maybelline's home. It seems as though the two garlands connected two people, but it's odd bringing them together would cause the spell to break. Alright, this seems like a condition for pact with dark force with some cruel sense of humor. This is mostly conjecture, however, as you are unfamiliar with the actual spell used to create this effect. You explain this all to Roy. He sucks in his teeth. Well, Selene may know something. She spent a lot of time studying the dark arts. Wouldn't hurt to ask. I'm going to add the blackened garlands to my inventory. Replace that. Blackened garlands. Blackened garlands times 2, I'll say. Right. If you're not done yet, you can explore the kitchen for a 374, or see if you can find where the flowers came from. I'm gonna go check the kitchen first. Maybelline's parents barely seem to register your presence, which is weird because we're a dragon and a druidic dwarf. It seems a bit all out of place. As you move through the common area in their kitchen, your first impression that it is a kitchen, like that found in the farmhouse, anywhere in the land. Dried herbs hanging from the rafters within reach. A cast iron pot sits on the stovetop. On the stovetop, smooth many years of seasoning. There's simple cooking utensils and enough plates and cups to accommodate the small family who lives there. But you and Roy look around all the same. Wrapped in an oilcloth at the back of the pantry, you find a hidden parcel of herbs and flowers. All of the plants are oddly proportioned. Mostly are covered in thorns and just seem a little too sharp. And leaves and flowers alike are rimmed with unnatural shades of purple and green. One of the blossoms is a deep midnight black, another has a splash of colour like a bloodstain. Roll an intelligence nature check. If you get a 15 or more, go to 393. So what is my nature? My nature actually is actually pretty good from what I remember. Yeah, it's +4. So I have to roll a 15 or higher. Tell you, there's a lot of twists and turns in this story. Maybe Selene was right. Maybe Maybelline was an evil piece of shit. 11. You know, I've got 2 inspirations. Let's do it again. Set. I'm gonna fuck it. Let's do it. I'm not nervous anymore. Not 20. I have to give up both my inspos though. Oh shit. Yeah, there it is. I have to be very careful. Buy inspirations. Jesus, it's late now. God, it's past 12. Can't believe I'm going this late. I'm near the end though. I might as well finish it. Go to 393. Alright, you recognize these herbs, but only by reputation. You've never actually seen them with your own eyes. There are plants that only grow on unhallowed ground and used as part of rituals to commune with the lower planes. You couldn't guess whether these open communication with devils in the 9 hells or demons in the abyss. But, demons in the abyss. But it is unusual to have them anywhere in a home as they are also very toxic to mortals. Aye, they are that. Demons and devils are outside my realm of knowledge, but Selene is an expert on the lower planes. She'll have more insights, so I'm going to add the unhallowed herbs to my inventory. The hell was she up to? Okay. You can still have... okay, the flowers outside... search the garden for the same flowers as the garland. You and Roy go out into the family garden, and Maybelline's parents seem to not even notice you leave. They have a plot behind the farmhouse. You can see vegetables like string beans and tomatoes planted in the neat rows, but the soil around them is teeming with weeds. And most of the plants seem scraggly with neglect. A few flowers are also in bloom, but not as many as could be. The whole outdoor space gives you the impressions of a well-planned garden that hasn't had any upkeep in a month or so. Still, you look around for wildflowers you saw in Garland. They shouldn't be affected by the lack of care needed by cultivated plants. Sadly, you can find no sign of the flowers. You do find something much more interesting. There's an odd patch of soil near the wall of the house, presumably under Maybelline's window. Unlike the rest of the garden, this soil is the same black color as what you saw in the cemetery. The patch is too small to be a grave, but something could certainly be buried there. You crouch down and start digging. Roy breaks off his search to join you. He waits beside you in anxious silence as you scoop away the eerily dark earth. After a few minutes, you reveal that something was indeed buried there. You find a piece of parchment stained dark brown by the earth and completely covered in jagged otherworldly slip. There is a braided lock of hair strung through the strange message. That looks abyssal to me. Can you read it? I certainly can't. If you speak abyssal or read through a language proficiency or some other spell. Yeah, I can't, unfortunately. Yeah. You can't read abyssal. I know infernal, not abyssal. You can't read abyssal and there's no way you can interpret that page. It may not work, but maybe we could ask Selene. He speaks abyssal and will probably even know what that does. He took away the little braid and scrap of paper to bring it to Selene later. Lock of hair and scrap of paper add to inventory. Lock of hair. Scrap paper. Right. That is a lot. We're going back to Selene then, I guess. We're going to go speak to Selene. You and Roy bid farewell to Maybelline's parents, and her mother still half-heartedly offers you tea while her father barely looks up. It's honestly impossible to tell whether it's the magical effects Roy can feel, or if it's just trauma of recent events. Well, Criterius, I think we haven't got any time to lose. Get on. Before you can question, Roy's form shifts into a powerful-looking pony. Well, I guess I'm changing back to humanoid form to do that. He turns into a pony, I turn into a tiefling. That's how I'm reasoning it. Roy's form shifts into that of a powerful pony. He tosses his red mane and prances alongside you, letting you climb on. Once you've gotten a grip on the neck, he takes off towards town at a gallop. He sprints into town and clatters down through the cobblestone street to the jailhouse near the town. You climb off Roy and he reverts to his dwarven form. Both of you enter the jail together. Inside it is gloomy, with little natural light. Coming in through the open door, most of the light comes from several oil lamps burning around a single jail cell. It looks like it's mostly used for drunks and traveling vagabonds to spend the night. But currently, the only occupant is Selene. She looks strange without her vestments, instead being dressed in plain grey dress, likely donated by a kind woman in town. She is sitting calmly on the edge of her cot in her cell, hands over her knees and her eyes on the wall. Still, her eyes dart to you and Roy as you enter. Roy, my dear friend. There's a chill in the air in her voice. Thank you for visiting again. To what do I owe the pleasure? Selene, darling. He nervously wrings his hands. Pains me to ask, but I was wondering if I could ask your advice. Selene looks between you and the druid. Criterius, you may have beaten me, but I am not broken. I will help you only because you're asking, Roy. Okay, I want to start with the blackened garlands. You hold up the wilted and blackened garlands. They look like wedding garlands, and I have seen many in this town, as officiant, of course. And these were healthy until you brought them close to each other. You and Roy nod. You nod, and Roy backs you up. It sounds like these were used as an anchor for some enchantment, but there was a pact written in bad faith. She chuckles at her own attempt at a pun. There was likely some clause that said if the two objects ever came into contact, the spell would be broken. A condition that sows chaos like that. That sows chaos like that sounds like a demonic entity. You return the garlands to your pack. Thanks, lass. How are you holding up? The same as yesterday, Selene says. So where did you find the garlands? You tell her that one was found in Tomlin's home and one found in Maybelline's home. But she says, her cool exterior being cracked. That would mean Maybelline or Tomlin was a victim of enchantment or love spell of some kind. What else did you find? I'll show her the unhallowed herbs. You pull out the bundle of unhallowed herbs and show them to Selene. Well, plants are more Roy's specialty, she says. But I recognize these are distinctive for sure, and I find them growing in the cemetery. What are they? Roy clears us, though I don't know how to process them. They're ingredients of a communion incense. Communion with what? Selene narrows her eyes, as though she already knows the answer. She takes a tentative sniff at the herbs. Not the sort of company I'd like to keep, Roy says, and Selene nods. So the girl was telling the truth, Selene says, her eyes grey. She really did put Tomlin under her power. I thought she was just mocking me. What did she trade for Tomlin? The cleric eyes snap up at you, and Roy takes a step back with intensity. What else? Did you find anything else? I'll show her the locks. You pull out the braided lock of hair and a scrap of paper and hold it out to Selene. She recoils, her hand reaching for the holy symbol that is no longer there. That's Tomlin's hair, she hisses. Where did you get that? When you tell her it was buried in Maybelline's garden, she reacts in anger. It's pact magic, she snarls. An enchantment written in the language of demons. Oh, Maybelline was not innocent. Ooh. But there is a price to be paid. Are her parents alright? They're acting a bit strange and there was something wrong with her place. Roy shivers, as if the soil itself was crying out in pain. Now that you've removed this from their property, they shouldn't feel any more effects within a couple of days, Elaine says, and mutters absently half at Roy. But that's what she meant by powerful friends. I just thought she was talking about some other yokel. You ask Elaine what it means, and she looks away from the spell to lock eyes with you. It means that I killed the man who loved me, but I also got revenge on the woman who made me do it. Under the smouldering anger, you take a step back from the cell bars, but as quickly as she turned, Selene takes a deep breath and apparently sheds her dark rage, and she turns to her friend. We're done here. 399. You thank Selene for speaking with you and bid her goodbye. She looks at you down her nose. I can't tell if you're speaking truly noble or if you're just in it for your own personal gain. But you're not doing anything that I wouldn't have done in your place. You open her mouth to thank her, but she cuts you off with a smile that reminds you of her wolf fangs. You take a step back from the cell and bump into Roy. But I will have my revenge someday. Come on. Roy tugs at me. It's time to go. Once outside, you see tears shining on the dwarf's cheeks and in his beard. He wipes his nose on his sleeve. Selene was the best of us once, a truly good person who did what was right. Now a broken shell and a lunatic. My friend is gone, all thanks to some silly girl who couldn't bear to hear no. Well, there was also the werewolf curse. That also doesn't do people any favours. We aren't quite sure what to say, but look, clearly she was a bit too obsessed with Tomlin, and werewolf curse can only make you so crazy. So she clearly had issues already, and those two things just kind of tipped her over. I'd say the isolation in that temple did not help things either. But anyway, I'm not. Apparently, I'm saying, come on, Criterius. We both need some rest. It's another night on patrol for both of us. Roy walks you back to the pickle tent, but instead of leaving the grove, you see him shift into his reddish wolf form before curling up on the floor next to the fire. He already begun to snore. By the time you start climbing the stairs to your room, go to 389. You're enjoying your second uneventful night of patrol, just finishing up first watch. You are outside the pickle tent, and the light is streaming the tavern along with good-natured banter from the militia members you were leading. The innkeeper has been kind enough to keep the common room open late into the night for the militia to eat and socialise after patrols. You've taken a moment to look out over the sleeping town. Clouds clear while you slept, and now a full moon hangs in the starry sky above. Lamplighters have stayed home while the risk of the undead remains. The moon's cool white light is the only illumination. Good thing I have dark vision. Yeah. In the dappled shadows of night, you almost miss the small movement across the street from the tavern. At first, you think it's just your eyes playing tricks on you, but you could swear you could see a woman standing in the shadows wearing plain, rough-spun dress. The moonlight is playing tricks around her features, keeping her swathed in the shadows. You can't even begin to make out her face, except for a small wry smile, light-coloured hair tied back in a tight bun. I doubt it's Maybelline, but maybe it's the woman who was with Tomlin. But then you blink and she's gone. You approach where you think you saw the odd figure, and nothing except a faint chill hanging in the air. You remember there are still undead wandering the street, and it would not be good to be caught alone. You return to the inn for a hot meal, a cool drink, and a good night's rest. Go to 400. You wake with the sound of commotion downstairs in the tavern. It doesn't sound like another injured patrol, but there's a general din of voices in the common room. You go down yourself to see what the fuss about. You come downstairs to see a heated conversation between Mayor Anathem Roy and a tired-looking militia member. There's a problem. Well, the problem is gone. And that's the problem. Seeing your confusion, the haggard militia, still catching his breath. Please don't make me explain it again, just come with me. The group of you make your way to the jail, and the mayor is walking briskly that Roy has to jog to keep up. When you arrive, it takes you a moment to understand what you're seeing. What's left of the cell door shattered lock is still glittering in unnatural frost. A bite chills in the air. And the cell itself is empty, and what you would guess has been sometime late last night. Criterius, what is this? She points to the floor, where the frost forms a distinct pattern, despite its jagged edges, a crescent moon. A new voice having to answer the mayor. So what happened to this town of yours? Asked the newcomer. You, Roy, and Mayor Anathem turn to the door where a cleric in dusty white robes appearing in the jail cell. Roy walks to the cleric, a young man with stooped shoulders and light brown hair. Claps the holy man on the back. It's a long story, lad. We'll have plenty of time as we get you settled into the temple. Let me show you the way. Seems your services are no longer required. And Roy leads the cleric out. Thank you. Where will you go next? You look to the thick frost of the cell, to the cell doors and floor, and then look back to the moonlight encounter the night before. You tell the mayor you're not sure yet, but whatever adventure comes next, you will not do it alone. So Elaine is out there somewhere, and she's become some sort of evil moon cleric. Well, I think that's a good place to end it. Oh my god, it's almost 1 a.m. Okay, let's see who's on streaming, so I can rate out. Oh.
Well, I've just realised Noct is actually doing his first ever stream.
Oh, Noct? Oh. Oh, he didn't give me his. Oh, what's his full name again? Their full name again. Noct underscore.
Give me a second. I shall send it across to you, Crit.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'll go make sure I follow him now. Thank you very much for that. Noct Wolf VT. Oh, no, I'm going to click that link. Oh god, don't open up Chrome. And I'm just going to close Chrome real quick. Alright, I'll open this up in Firefox. I don't know why. The Firefox is right there. You could just open the tab. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to mute him real quick. Oh, look, he's playing Monster Hunter. They're playing Monster Hunter Wilds. Okay. Noct Wolf PT. Oh, they left Noct on. Oh, they shouldn't do that. Noct is a big pain in the ass. It's their raid. Oh, careful! I can hear their stream on your side there. All right, so we're raiding out. Oof. We caught a werewolf, and now we're going to go see a werewolf. I'll hit follow after I go because it's yeah, I didn't realize they had their stream up yet. But yeah, well that went on longer than I expected. It was a good stream though. Very happy with how that turned out. Oh my god, I'm very tired now. Whoa, after all of that.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it went on longer than I said, so I am not. Yeah. Anyway, guys, White. Yeah. So thank you all for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed. my solo play. I have 2 more of these adventures. I might run them sometime in future. It'll be the only D&D I'll be running after Strixhaven because it's a solo adventure. I'm not giving WotC any money. It's a third-party product. So yeah. Anyway, bye-bye.
Bye.